pertinho, e o Bo Nixon, que é australiano. Então, quem vai entrar na água agora é o Ian Vass e o Kieran Taylor.
And right now, Jan is out there in the blue. And now we're switching more to a conventional format where we will still have each surfer getting 3 rights, 3 lefts, and 3 closeouts. And the best wave from each category will be counted together. But instead of going against the whole field, the surfers are just going against that one competitor. So Jan and Kieran going head to head in this quarterfinal number 1. Coming up in quarterfinal number 2, it's Leko Salazar going up against Cody Kerbox. In quarterfinal number 3, it'll be Kyle Vaj and Remy Keek. And then in quarterfinal number 4, it'll be Zane Schweitzer and Bo Nixon. So you must be starting to get pretty excited now. You know, you're coming up very soon. And this is just one more ride from, that's Noah Janela on the Alaya board. Taking a right there, coming back to the beach.
É o Noah Janela que acabou de pegar uma onda com o Alaya dele, porque por enquanto eles estão esperando que o juiz se apronte para começar a bateria. Então o formato agora, esse quarto de final, cada surfista vai pegar 3 direita, 3 esquerda e 3 close-out. A diferença de ontem é que agora é um contra o outro. Ontem você era contra todo mundo, entendeu? Pegava as 6 melhor nota, as 6 melhor pessoa. Surfista. Então agora nessa bateria de Ian e de Kieran, eles vão ter que pegar 3 direita, 3 esquerda e 3 close-out e vai contar a melhor nota de cada. Então no final vai ser notado com 3 ondas, a melhor direita, a melhor esquerda e o melhor close-out.
And right now, director Tristan Boxford letting Jan know that it is on. The next wave that comes in will be his first attempt for his first right here. And we're going to hope to be able to tell some scores over the beach announcing so the competitors can know what they're scoring for each wave.
Então a bateria acabou de começar. O primeiro a pegar a onda vai ser o Ian. O Ian Vaz, que quebrou ontem, surfou muito bem, do Rio de Janeiro. O Caio também surfou bem. O Leco. Ontem foi um dia brasileiro mesmo, todo mundo surfou muito bem. Então agora o Ian está se preparando para pegar a primeira direita. Hoje não é muito fácil porque tem mais vento do que ontem. Tem um vento lateral bem forte. Então o Ian está remando. Muito bem. Bottom turn. Primeira rasgada. Segunda rasgada saindo bem o tail. Aí vai tentar um 360. Conseguiu o 360. Vai tentar um segundo. E cuidado que não tem mais água aí. Uma onda muito boa do Ian agora.
So Jan making it look very easy right there.
Yeah, it look easy.
He had a nice first turn, followed up with the second turn, very smooth, very much in control, nice flow.
Yeah.
We'll see the replay right here. Takes off pretty deep, close to the wall right there. Nice big bottom turn, lots of power and speed generated off that first bottom turn. Maybe could have cranked it a little harder on the first turn, but definitely puts the tail right into that one.
Então a segunda manobra foi a melhor. Fiz uma rasgada muito bem, muito boa, voltou na espuma e depois finalizou com 360, tentou um segundo, mas a onda é muito curta aqui.
And the 360s, not that critical, but they definitely look cool.
They look cool. It's a good way to finalize the wave.
Yeah, very good way to finish. Keep it, put a little bit of cherry on top of the scoring for the judges and have them going into it with a good ending maneuver is very strong.
Então, o 360, como ele estava falando, não conta muitos pontos, mas é a cereja no bolo, sabe, para acabar bem a onda. Então, o Ian acabou de pegar uma onda muito boa. Vamos esperar as notas dele. Por enquanto, quem está esperando é o Kieran Taylor, que é o local daqui.
So Kieran, he's going to get 3 rights to work with, and he chose all rights for his quarterfinal for the sudden death run, and it worked out good for him. We'll see how he does here. He drops in, nice bottom turn along the wall, really going after that first section. He was trying to get that
to go big.
Critical turn on the first section, going big. Unfortunately, that's sometimes the consequence when you try to go too big. It is definitely a risk.
Então o Ken pegou a onda, só que ele foi muito forte lá em cima para mandar uma rasgada forte, botar a esquilha para fora, mas ele não conseguiu completar a manobra.
Looked like his front foot just came off the board a little bit, and we talked about, this sport already in general being just a matter of inches and millimeters, and then in the pool even more important.
Então, o que ele está falando que nessa onda da piscina é um pouco complicado porque você tem que estar sempre no lugar certo. Se você vai subir demais na onda, você corre o risco de perder, porque lá em cima quase não tem força. Na verdade, é diferente do mar. Onde que tem mais força é lá embaixo da onda, entendeu? É lá embaixo, é aí que você consegue pegar a velocidade. O que o Ian fez muito bem. O Ian já conseguiu entender muito bem como funciona a onda.
And if you guys do have your, we want to thank you first of all for joining us online from Brazil, from France, from the United States, from all over the world, tuning in here to watch this from the United Arab Emirates. And you see a little website graphic on the behind the surfers. If you have another window on your computer, go ahead and open up the website for the Wadi Adventure Park. Right there it is, wadiadventure.ae, and check out some of the cool things they have to offer here. And we got to say very much thank you, so much thank yous to the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club. They've been a very, very big partner in getting this here as we watch Jan Vaj. And nice first turn right there. That one, he got the tail nice and loose.
Primeira rasgada muito boa, uma segunda. Aí depois faz de novo um 360. Só que ele não completa. Eu acho que a primeira onda dele estava um pouquinho melhor. Mas essa aí foi boa mesmo assim.
So kind of similar to the first wave. Definitely a stronger first turn on this second wave, as he was able to throw the tail out just a little bit more than his first attempt. And you see the nice big bottom turn there, and
nice
then just
bottom turn.
Cranking it. Kind of a nice swivel of the hips to get the tail out, and then another nice turn, throwing lots of spray out the back, and then went for the 360 again. That seems like a popular maneuver for him in that section right there. Unfortunately, couldn't complete that one right there, so we'll see how that factors into the score. But also, we got to say mahalo, thank you to UAE SUP, Tim, and all of his crew there doing an excellent job helping us out, getting around here.
The organization is so good.
Yeah, it's so much help. So the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club, UAE SUP, and also the Waterman League and the Stand Up World Tour, of course, and definitely the Wadi Adventure Park. Such a great staff here, such a great venue. Turtle Bay Resort helping us out a lot from Hawaii, and all of our great sponsors that are on the board behind us here. They are just so instrumental in the growth of stand-up paddle surfing. As you see here, we got JP Australia, Nash, Starboard, Fanatic, Art in Surf, which is part of Jan Vaj.
Yeah, he's a board of Jan Vaj.
Yeah, he's a great
que
artist.
patrocina o Jan. O Kieran, que tá pegando a onda agora, fez um primeiro cutback, um segundo. Vamos ver como ele vai finalizar a onda. Ele vai finalizar com 360, que ele não completa.
So
então, por enquanto, o Ian tá muito bem.
Just a little bit off cue, off timing for that last one, but he had some nice paddle transitions. Definitely better than his first wave, which he was not able to complete the first turn. So he gets a little bit more rhythm back into his surfing, and goes nice and high on that first turn. Beautiful changing of the paddle, which is, helps with the flow of the maneuvers. And the judges are also looking at the paddle use with this sport. Having that baton in your hand makes for some good show.
Então, o que foi bom na onda do Kieran é que ele fez uma troca de remo. Uma coisa que os juízes eles notam bem, eles olham muito o trabalho da prancha na borda, a troca de remo e o flow, entendeu? Isso aí é muito bom porque os juízes eles estão julgando mesmo que nem o surf, que são juízes ASP. Até eu vi eles surfar na piscina, a gente surfou junto, todos os juízes surfam muito bem. Então isso aí é uma coisa boa que deu vantagem para os brasileiros, porque o Ian, o Kai, o Lek, todo mundo está surfando bem na bola. Dá para ver que tem algum surfista que estava lá no início, que estava surfando um pouquinho plano, entendeu? Aí eles não conseguiam boas notas. Faziam umas manobras radicais, mas não colocava a borda na água, então não conseguia nota boa. Esse que o Ian faz muito bem é surfar na borda. Olha, o Ian agora está remando, Ele vai bem perto do muro, é aí que tem que pegar. Aí caiu, o Ian acabou de cair. Ele tentou mandar em cima da espuma, mas isso aí é muito complicado, porque a espuma não tem força.
He was a lot closer to the wall on that wave compared to his previous two. Maybe feeling like he got two good ones under his belt and then wanting to go big for his third one. As you see him fade very close to the wall, took his bottom turn, maybe a little too far, was going aggressive at that first section, but like we said earlier, it's really hard to get up on the foam in this wave pool and really have a nice completed maneuver there. So that'll be all for the 3 rights attempted for Jan Vaj. Coming up next, Kieran's last attempt on a right, and then we'll change over and switch the pool to the left-hander, which both of these guys will be working on their backhand, and we'll see how they do on the lefts. But back to art and surf, and Jan Vaj is an accomplished artist. I've seen some of his work. It's very, very cool. And he did a special design on his board for here in the UAE.
Então ele estava falando que a prancha Art and Surf do Ian, o Ian é um artista, ele fez uma decoração especial para Abu Dhabi, parece que é uma mosca com umas cores laranja, um desenho muito bonito. Tá com uma prancha pequena, eu acho que é 7.4, 7.5 por 24, mas tá surfando muito bem com essa prancha, com umas bordas bem fininhas. Agora foi a última onda para a direita dele, o Kian vai pegar a última direita agora. E depois eles vão ir para a esquerda.
And here goes Kieran taking off in the middle, going deep.
Ele pegou no meio para tentar fazer um cutback.
Fading into the left, to the right there,
Terceira manobra do Kieran, mas ele cai. Então, por enquanto, o Ian está bem na frente, eu acho que ele surfou muito bem. Todo mundo no Brasil deve estar maradão, muito feliz.
So after watching that exchange, now because each surfer is going to have their best wave from each category. Now we can kind of analyze and see what we think as far as like who won that battle of the rights right there. And I think, in my mind, I think Ian or Jan might have got the edge right there a little bit.
I think too.
So going into the lefts, it looks like Jan is just slightly ahead of Kieran. So it'll be interesting. Kieran now, and they know their scores. He knows that he's got to do something special on the lefts to have a chance against the very, very talented Jan Vaj.
Então o Ian por enquanto está na frente, porque ele pegou 2 ondas muito boas. O Kieran só pegou uma boazinha, então agora o Kieran vai ter que dar tudo na esquerda.
And on the bottom of his board, what he has chosen to draw and paint on his board in honor of coming here to the UAE is the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, which we had a chance to visit a couple days ago.
Massive.
And it is just one of the most amazing pieces of architecture that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Então o Ian ele desenhou uma mosquê embaixo da prancha dele, que é a igreja daqui dos muçulmanos, a mosquê dos Zayed. Lá em Abu Dhabi a gente foi visitar antes de ontem, uma coisa incrível, só de mármore branco, cheio de ouro, uma coisa muito bonita. Aí, em homenagem ao povo de Abu Dhabi, o Ian desenhou isso embaixo da prancha, ficou muito bonito. Então, por enquanto, o Ian está muito bem. O pessoal do Rio deve estar muito feliz. Parabéns para Beto, o pai do Ian e do Caio. Os meninos estão indo muito bem no campeonato. É muito bom os dois viajar juntos, porque sempre que tem um na água, o outro está filmando. Agora dá para ver na beira o Caio que está pegando foto e filmando o Ian. Tá uma sintonia muito boa dos dois irmãos, assim.
So right now we're going to have a little bit of an intermission, one wave for Noah Janela on the Alaya board. And nice 360 there for Noah, and riding the traditional Hawaiian style short board. And Noah just 360 and just having some fun out there. We're getting some pictures for our for the cultural media display, just showing how far you can take this Hawaiian shortboard, ancient Hawaiian style of surfing, and bringing it all the way here to the United Arab Emirates.
Então agora acabou de pegar uma onda, foi o Noah Ginella, só para mostrar assim que dá para pegar onda com um alaya. Um alaya é uma prancha típica das ilhas de Havaí, era as primeiras pranchas de surf. É muito fininho, não tem quilha. Agora o bom é que vai muito rápido na onda, o que não é fácil é pegar onda, porque tem muito pouca flutuação, por causa que é uma prancha de madeira muito fininha.
And Noah, actually, he makes his own Alaya boards.
Ah, é?
So he shaped that board himself, and it's gotta be pretty cool to be able to make your own board and ride it too. So Noah Janela, not only a talented surfer, but taking his shaping talents and putting them to use and trying his own boards.
Então, o Noah, o Alaya dele, ele fez ele mesmo. Ele construiu e shapeou o Alaya dele, porque não é tão complicado fazer um Alaya. Tem que ter as ferramentas, ter a mão para fazer, mas ele fez o Alaya dele mesmo.
So the scores coming in for that first round of the rights, and Jan Vaj with an 8.83 on that second ride. I think it's because he did that turn in the critical section. Didn't necessarily complete the 360, but here he is on the left, now trying to continue his charge to the semifinals. And that second turn kind of looked a little bit like what you did during your practice session, going a little bit too high up on the wave, and then of course you can't get back into it, and then it's an incomplete turn.
Então o Ian pegou a primeira esquerda dele, a primeira manobra foi boa, o bottom foi muito bom. A gente está vendo agora o replay. Pronto, primeira manobra, ele foi um pouquinho longe demais da espuma. Aí depois na segunda ele tentou ir mais alto, só que ele ficou preso lá em cima. Aí isso aí, por causa da onda que fica mais fraca em cima e o vento, é complicado. Quando eu estava surfando logo antes, aconteceu exatamente a mesma coisa comigo. Eu tentei ir mais alto assim para mandar a prancha mesmo a meio-dia, só que eu fiquei colado lá em cima. É isso que acabou de acontecer. Então as notas do Ian, a primeira onda dele foi 7.17 e a segunda onda dele foi 8.83, que deve ser por causa da segunda manobra dele, que foi errada. Então ele está bem para frente, porque o Kirian, a primeira onda dele foi 1.33, a segunda 4.17 e a terceira 3.17. Então o Ian está bem para frente, tá confortável.
So we're adding up the highest scores from each category. Right now, Kieran's highest score is a 4.17. So comparing the 8.83 of Jan Vaj to the 4.17 of Kieran Taylor, Kieran has got a lot of ground to make up. So he's in a very tight spot right now. He needs to get something pretty spectacular. Here he goes, this left starting to come in, times it perfectly. He drops in, we get a nice straight on camera angle. Aggressive first turn and just gets hung up at the top. We still have the offshore wind blowing. And also we talked about the wave pool. It's really hard to get that cranking first turn. You really gotta have perfect timing and a lot of power.
Então o Kirian, que pegou a primeira esquerda dele, bottom turn muito bem feito. Agora ele tentou bater a espuma e ficou colado lá em cima. Que a espuma, a coisa não tem força. Esse é o problema da piscina. É melhor ficar na face da onda mesmo, fazer que nem o Ian ele fez, colocar a borda e voltar para a espuma. É engraçado porque o Kirian é o cara que surfa mais essa piscina. Ele mora aqui do lado, ele conhece muito bem. Não sei o que vai acontecer agora com ele.
So Jan's got to be feeling pretty good right now. After 4 waves, he's got a pretty good lead on Kieran Taylor, and looking at the heat draw here, like you said earlier, man, everybody's surfing so well. You had to think Kieran was one of the favorites coming into the event, being able to surf this wave almost every day. And but Jan Vaj, a very talented Brazilian, he's really taking this heat very serious and sitting on top with an 8.83 so far in that first round of rights. He would like to get a better left. He got a 3.77 on his first left. Kieran only got a 1.4, so he's still ahead, winning that wave-to-wave battle here. But
então o Ian ele pegou 3.76 na última onda dele e o Kirian pegou 1.4. Agora o Ian tá remando para a segunda esquerda dele, bottom turn, primeira cavada, ele vai mais tranquilo. Cuidado! E ficou bloqueado. Eles tem que ter cuidado para não ir muito na espuma.
You saw his dismount there, obviously dissatisfied with his performance on that particular wave, but He seems like, and I think this is true about a lot of artists, that in everything they do, they're perfectionists.
Yeah.
So, he definitely wanted to do something better there. He's going to be happy that he's ahead in the heat, but he wants to do every wave as best as he can, just like he's drawing a picture or something.
O que ele estava falando é que como o Ian é um artista, ele deve ser muito exigente, aí por isso que ele estava reclamando daquela onda que ele pegou. É que nem quando faz um desenho tem que ser tudo perfeitinho. Agora essa onda ele não surfou muito bem, mas por enquanto ele está bem para frente do Kieran, então está tudo tranquilo para ele passar na semifinal. E os Irmãos estão com tudo para trazer o troféu lá para o Rio de Janeiro.
There's Noah Janela jogging across the beach with his Alaya board. I'm Rocky Cannon with Remy Keek here up in the announcer's booth watching this quarterfinal action of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars, brought to you by the Waterman League and also the Stand Up World Tour. And when you think about the Stand Up World Tour, what a special thing to be able to come all the way out here to the Middle East. I've never been to the Middle East before.
Too.
The only thing I've ever heard about the Middle East, usually, especially in Hawaii and in America, you just hear about, of course, all of the struggles, all of the battles in the war-torn countries. But here in the United Arab Emirates, everybody seems to just be on a very positive attitude note.
For sure. Agora o Kieran pega a segunda onda dele, primeira manobra, segunda manobra. Agora vai tentar fazer com a junção, mas não conseguiu.
Looks like he was having a little trouble with his weight distribution, a lot of pressure on the tail, not letting him really get down into the wave. And starts off kind of in the middle and fades to the left a little bit.
Parece que ele puxou demais com o pé traseiro. Era para ele, como a onda lá em cima tem pouca força, tem que assim que você acabar a manobra tem que voltar bem para frente. Até que ele tentou agora, quando a gente viu no replay, mas não conseguiu. O que ele estava falando é que ele nunca tinha ido aqui para os Emirados Árabes Unidos, para o Maghreb. Eu também, era a minha primeira vez. E a gente sempre está ouvindo falar desse canto do mundo de guerra, tá? Mas desde que a gente está aqui, pelo menos aqui em UAE, que é o Dubai, Abu Dhabi, todo mundo recebeu muito bem a gente. O povo é muito acolhedor. Então a gente está muito feliz. Todos os competidores estou muito feliz de estar aqui em Abu Dhabi para disputar essa primeira competição, esse primeiro campeonato numa piscina de onda, que é muito interessante porque todo mundo tem a mesma onda. Isso é muito interessante para o juiz.
There was a little shot of Kieran's wife and the newborn baby. Gotta mention and say, big shout out to the new baby that is just brought into the world as of recently. He actually brought the family to Sunset Beach and got to meet them for the first time. And very, very happy, positive family. Awesome to see.
A gente acabou de ver uma imagem da mulher, é o filho do Kieran, que mora aqui. Ele é piloto de avião, aqui em Abu Dhabi. Ó, o Ian pegando a terceira esquerda dele, agora tem que dar tudo. Primeira rasgada, pronto. Segunda, terceira.
So he gets three turns there. The second one, you saw his hand come off the paddle a little bit, but he definitely put the board up above the lip as much as he could. And we'll watch the replay here. Took off very close to the wall, trying to maximize his use of the wave. And a nice bottom turn. Kind of just wanted to make sure he made that first turn. He was a little bit conservative, but it still will count as a completed wave. And this was the one that really got him above the lip a little bit. Lost the paddle for a second, but recovered nicely.
Então a gente acabou de ver o replay do Ian. Ele pegou a onda bem perto da parede, porque como a onda é muito curta, você tem que aproveitar ao máximo. Então ele fez muito bem de começar a onda muito perto da parede. Aí a primeira manobra dele foi boa, e uma pena que a segunda foi melhor ainda, mas não sei por que ele saltou o remo. Mas mesmo assim, completou a manobra. Eu acho que parece que vai ser a melhor esquerda dele. Agora vai o Kieran para a última esquerda.
So you see Jan in the foreground, Kieran out the back with his last chance on the lefts here, and he is kind of in a tough spot because I think that last wave of Jan will be his best left so far. And Kieran has a 2.8 and a 1.4, so he has to really put it together on this one and make something special happen.
Agora o Kieran tem que dar tudo, porque por enquanto ele pegou 2 ondas média, ele tem que pegar uma onda muito boa, ainda mais as direitas, o Ian ele conseguiu muito bem, pegou umas notas muito boas. Agora o Kieran está saindo na esquerda, um pouquinho de dificuldade para entrar na onda. Primeiro cutback, segunda manobra. Foi boa, mas não vai ser suficiente.
He almost didn't get into that wave. That was very close. In fact, I saw him this morning actually miss one when the winds were very strong. So watch him here as he's paddling, as Noah Janela's leaping off the stairs in the background. Jan Vaj watching in the foreground. And Kieran is just on the lip right there, really not, he's got a lot of pressure, not wanting to blow it on that third one. And now he recovers nicely. Beautiful cutback, full roundhouse cutback, and right here pushed it up a little bit more vertical than what we've seen so far in the heat. So that might have been one of the better turns of the heat.
His best wave, I think.
Yeah, and we'll see if it was too little too late, however, because he really does have a lot of ground to make up with Jan getting that 8.83 in the first round of the rights, and Kieran only with a 4.17, so they're already kind of spread out. So Kieran has to get a big score on that last one.
Agora vamos esperar a nota do Kieran, mas por enquanto, com certeza, o Ian está numa posição confortável. Agora você vê, apesar de esse local daqui, de ser muito acostumado a essa piscina de onda, ele quase perder a última esquerda, porque quando você está lá fora, você não sabe quando vai entrar a onda, não tem barulho, não tem nada. Aí você está uns 5 metros da parede, aí chega a onda. Aí eu pessoalmente, a primeira vez fiquei com medo, estava sem perna. Aí na hora de fazer aquela embaixo, estava sem perna, porque tem muita pressão de perder a onda.
So interesting here, Kieran does win the battle with a 4.83 compared to Jan's 4.57, but when you add the scores together, Jan's got that 8.83 with the 4.57, 4.17 for Kieran Taylor in the first round, and then a 4.83. So he's still behind, but he was able to make up just a little bit of ground there. And now it comes down to the closeout section, and we'll see how these guys can utilize the section. It looks like Jan is going to possibly maybe stick to a left for a closeout, just to see if he can get a nice power backhand turn or possibly a reverse.
Like he did yesterday. Então, as notas agora dessa segunda bateria de onda para a esquerda, quem fez a melhor nota foi o Kieran Taylor com 4.83 e o Jan fez 4.57. Mas tudo bem, ainda o Jan está bem para frente por causa do 8.83 que ele pegou naquela bateria das 3 direitas. Então, por enquanto, o Jan está bem confortável, está bem na frente.
And Jan is very much so looking like he's going to try a left for his closeout attempt, for his first attempt anyway. And we'll see what Kieran Taylor does. I believe Kieran Taylor probably will stick to the rights. He had some pretty good ones in his warm-up session this morning. Nice layback turn, so we'll see if he can stick to that strategy. But like we said, it's probably an 8.83 plus 4.57. He's already looking at about maybe 13, 14 points total for Jan Vaj. And then Kieran with a 4.17 and a 4.83, just about at a 9-point total. So there's still quite a spread. Jan Vaj in the lead so far in this Abu Dhabi All-Star quarterfinal number 1.
Então, por enquanto, o Jan está bem na frente. Parece que ele ia escolher começar na esquerda para pegar o close-out. O close-out é a onda que vai fechando no meio. Aí dá para mandar uma primeira manobra, uma primeira rasgada rapidinho e depois dá para mandar um aero. Então é isso que vai tentar o Jan. Backside muito bonito. Vai fazer. Por enquanto ele está esperando porque o pessoal mudou a programação da onda, botou para os altos.
So we do have a little bit of a correction. The reason that Jan Vaj is sitting over at the lefts is that there was a little glitch in the pool for the last couple of lefts. So each rider, I believe, will get one more left opportunity.
Que bom.
And our staff here, very on top of the maintenance, up top of the technology. They want to make sure that each surfer gets the most fair chance to perform here. So that's what we're going to see right now is one more left for Jan and one more left for Kieran Taylor. And for Kieran, hey, he gets another opportunity to hopefully increase his score and get a little bit closer to Jan Vaj in first place.
Então, parece que nessa bateria de onda para a esquerda, o pessoal que está cuidando da piscina, eles viram que deu umas duas esquerdas que não era tão boa assim. Então, eles vão fazer mais uma esquerda para cada uma. Então, agora o Ian tem mais uma chance de pontuar bem nessas ondas de esquerda. Que parece que deu um probleminho e a onda não foi tão boa. Então, o Kirian e o Ian vão pegar mais uma esquerda a cada um.
And we see one of our, possibly one of our maintenance men on top of the Wadi Adventure sign up in the background, possibly checking some things out. We got Brett O'Reilly on staff here, and part of the Wadi Adventure staff that has been super gracious and such great hosts here to have us come all the way from around the world and perform here at this beautiful water park.
E a gente então sou muito bem recebida pelo Wadi Adventure, que é esse parque de diversão aquática aqui, com essa piscina de onda. Tem 2 rios do lado, 2 rios artificiais, onde que dá para fazer canoe, caiaque e rafting. Eles estão recebendo a gente muito bem, toda a equipe está trabalhando muito. E agora eu estava verificando porque parece que tem uma bomba que não soltou muito bem a água. De repente, por isso que o Kirian não conseguiu pegar a onda certinho. Eu não sei. Então,
so with this little break in the action, Jan could get very lucky because when the pool sits for a while, it gets very glassy, and that first wave that comes out is pretty perfect.
Na verdade, o Jan tem
they're
sorte.
letting it go.
Não. Agora vai ser o Noah Ginera que vai com a laia dele. Então o Alaya é essa prancha de madeira sem quilha. Olha, um 360 do Noah Ginera.
Seems like he does the first turn good, but then the wave just kind of gets a little bit too fast for that little Alaya board. It's so thin, there's no fins on it to really generate speed, so Noah gets one turn with the 360 and then has to kind of just stick his head into the white water, and we'll watch our replay right here. See that first wave so clean and glassy when they have a little few minute break between the waves.
Isso aí é a grande vantagem quando eles param a máquina durante 3 minutos assim, 3, 4 minutos, a água fica lisinho. Que quando faz uma onda a cada minuto e 30, porque cada 90 segundos eles fazem uma onda, a água sempre fica um pouquinho balançada. Assim, isso que é complicado na hora de fazer a cavada lá embaixo, sempre tem um pouquinho de balanço na água. Boa onda do Noah. É um shampoozinho no final. Muito bem. É uma coisa interessante com esse local, o Kirian Taylor, o australiano, que agora faz 3 anos que ele está morando aqui, e o trabalho dele então é ser piloto de avião. E o que ele tem que fazer, quando tem uma nuvem, ele vai voar em cima da nuvem, aí ele joga a sala, aí faz chover. Então ele tem um trabalho incrível que faz chover, e aqui chove muito pouco, tem água, mas não está chovendo muito. E aqui é um lugar muito importante. Quando a gente foi de Abu Dhabi para cá, na estrada tinha muitas fazendas. Então o trabalho dele é assim, de uma hora o pessoal liga para ele porque tá chegando nuvem, então ele tem que passar por cima, jogar o sal, aí cai água. Então é um trabalho muito interessante.
I got what you were saying there.
Yeah, you speak Portuguese now.
I don't speak, I understand though.
You understand Portuguese?
Kieran has one of the most interesting jobs that I've ever heard of in the recent times. What he does is he flies a plane high above the clouds here in the desert, and they actually have a chemical compound. I think it's a lot of salt involved, and what he does is it's basically called seeding the clouds with salt so that they get together with the chemicals in the cumulus clouds, and he literally makes it rain here. So that's his occupation. He's a pilot. He flies in the clouds, sprinkles some salt, and then down comes the rain. So Kieran is
he's like God, you know.
Yeah, he's doing a job of God right there here in the UAE desert. But right now they're gonna stick to the back of the pool. You see the maintenance men back there. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the pool and the wave generation. So we're gonna throw to some highlights from yesterday and walk you through those that we're gonna watch here from day 1 of our competition. And we'll see probably a couple waves from you, Remy, on screen.
Então agora por causa da manutenção, porque parece que tem um probleminha numa bomba, eles vão mostrar os highlights de ontem. as melhores ondas de ontem.
Aloha and welcome to day one of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Invitational presented by Abu Dhabi Sailing Club, UAE SUP and Wadi Adventure Park. So this is a groundbreaking day of competition here for the Stand Up World Tour at this exhibition event. We're getting rid of the regular format in rounds 1, 2 and 3. There will be no elimination. Each round will feature one kind of wave. So round 1 is all rights, round 2 all lefts and round 3 all closeouts. And each rider will be scored on their best wave out of 3. So they'll get 3 chances to score on each type of wave, and their best wave from each will count for their overall result. The top 6 will advance directly to the quarterfinals, with the final 2 places left for the sudden death round tomorrow. So definitely, as expected, the Brazilian crew put on a stellar performance today. Leco Salazar, current world champion, standing strong here in Abu Dhabi. But it was the Vaj brothers who really turned heads, particularly in the first 2 rounds, and then the younger brother Ian Vaj putting it all on the line in the 3rd round to maintain his ratings lead going into the quarterfinals. So with the slower start on the right, Zane Schweitzer picked up momentum through the rounds, and in round 3 scored a perfect 10 in the closeouts. He's been looking forward to this all year, and finally was able to excel in this high-performance format. So other standouts, Remy Keek from France put on a fluid display of surfing, and Cody Kerbox, fresh from his amazing finals finish at Sunset Beach, put on another stellar performance here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. So we were able to see the women out in action today with a great exhibition event. You'll see them again tomorrow, live from the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. So after a phenomenal day of action here at Wadi Adventure Park, it's a wrap for today, but we'll be back bright and early tomorrow for the sudden death round of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars Invitational at Wadi Adventure Park. But prior to the action, we'll be bringing you the morning show with Zane Schweitzer as he joins some of the top women in the world to discuss their presence here at the Abu Dhabi All-Stars. So make sure to join us live here at standupworldtour.com for all the action and more. Aloha.
Well, the North Shore is such a special place.
I think there's some of the most hospitable people in the whole world right here.
What makes the North Shore so special is the people of Hawaii created the sport surfing, so it's only right the most exciting contests in the world go down here.
I think it's epic. It still has soul.
We just hope that one day everybody in this world gets to come and experience our little piece of paradise.
Turtle Bay, your gateway to the North Shore.
There's so much opportunity for the intermediate and growing surfers.
Oh yeah, the North Shore has every variety of wave you can think of. Places like Buena Point on the inside where Uncle Brian teaches his surf lessons, or Hans Hedeman Surf School down there at Turtle Bay.
And here at Turtle Bay, we're blessed with lovely waves right around the hotel. Get quality surf and quality water time. Turtle Bay is your gateway to the North Shore.
There's so much opportunity for
All right, aloha. We are here at the Wadi Adventure Park for the quarterfinals of the Abu Dhabi All-Stars SUP event here, brought to you by the Stand Up World Tour and the Waterman League. And right now we're just experiencing STDs, small kind technical difficulties with the wave pool. There's some debris and some of the pumps that they're gonna clear out. So we're gonna take a 20-minute break and we'll be back after 20 minutes with more action from our quarterfinal number 1. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Take care, and we'll see you on the other side.
I'm the only one on? What? There's still ways to keep filming it, but it's not on the white. I think there'll be no way to keep on the live for the next 20 minutes. Do you mind like going and grabbing B-roll just in the athletes area? Okay. And then if you like, if they get back from the water and you're still busy shooting stuff, I'll just jump on this camera until you make it back up there. Okay. Okay. Let me just. Have you had a chance to eat? I did. Thank you. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, man. No, it's good. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna put you back in the water for some of the later stuff. As long as right when I come up to the water, that's when we're getting water. Yeah. No, I think you know what we're going to probably do is let's put you in the water for the semis and the final. Or the second semi and the final. You know, it's nice to have everything else. Thanks, man. Yeah. Tu m'entends mieux là? Attention, on s'entend bien. Les vidéos. Non, il dormait au grand. Là, il est 6h30.
Hey, Matty, we're going back on, man.
Yeah, I'm here. He's shooting B-roll for me.
Oh, he is? Okay.
No, you go.
We're going back on though, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna man this camera.
Okay, man.
I can shoot a camera. I'm just not worried. Oh my God, Christian's on the camera.
Oh, shit. So how much? If your next step is not better. Kieran and was in the same boat as you. He fell in his first year, he did understood. So both of these best scores were the one. So you have one more left. And then will there be a transition wave first? Then a transition wave after Kieran's wave. And then there'll be 3 closeouts. Okay? There'll be one transition now before your one, and then another transition. Your last one was a 4.17.
4.57.
Full starting at now.
4.83.
4.83.
So you got a 8.83 and a 4.57 total so far. He's got a 4.17 and a 4.83 total.
Okay, yeah, it's going right now. Yeah, this is going to be the transition wave, then you're on. So starting there. Good luck, man. What's that? Wait.
All right, we are back after our glitch in the pool. Everything is fixed for the most part now. I'm Rocky Cannon with Tristan Boxford. We're watching quarterfinal number 1 with Jan Vaj out there, going to catch his final left here up against Kieran Taylor.
Yeah, it shows, Rocky, that waves change out in the ocean, but waves can surely change here in the pool as well.
Yep, we've got a man-made machine here, so we're subject to all of those things that can and will go wrong. It's Murphy's Law, of course, when we're traveling halfway around the world to see Jan Vaj on a left right here, taking off really close to the wall.
Yeah, these guys are literally touching the wall when they're taking off. Steep section, they've actually upped the level. It's actually a level 6, this one, Rocky, so nice way for Jan Vaj there, some critical turns.
Yeah, that happened to him on another wave too, where he went up really aggressive, kind of lost the handle on the paddle for just a moment, but regained his composure quite nicely.
Almost like a little bit of a style point, when you say.
Pretty much, yeah, just kind of dragging it behind, and you see how the paddle is just inches from the wall. And you notice the wave breaking a little further in right now, but still plenty of face there for Jan to work with. Nice paddle work right there on the roundhouse cut back on his backhand, little transition right there. Pumping down the line, and then shows us the bottom of his board, that beautiful grand mosque piece of art that he drew for Art in Surf.
That was a really nice closing turn, that, Rocky.
Yeah, that was aggressive, vertical, and finished strong. Now Kieran has got his work cut out for him, because he's now behind quite a bit with the 8.83 posted in the first category on the rights by Jan, and he was only able to post a 4.17, so he's got some work to do.
He's got some work to do. I'm pretty sure as well that last wave of Jan's was his best left so far, so I think that will improve on his overall score too.
Yeah, so Kieran definitely has got the pressure on him right now as he waits for this Wadi Adventure Park wave pool to produce another left for him. And then there'll be a transition wave, and then there'll be the closeout wave, which is not really too much of a closeout. When you think about a closeout, you think of no scoring opportunity, but this closeout actually gives you a little section for a first turn, and then a really nice oncoming section for that final second big radical turn.
Well, exactly, Rocky, and in fact, ironically, it is most likely the highest scoring potential is on the closeout, as we see Kieran Taylor drop into his last left, literally touching the wall. Coming back into the whitewater. Ooh, gets a little caught up there. That won't improve, I don't think, on his last wave.
Yeah, so he'll just keep that 4.83 that he got, and we'll see what the score of Jan Vaj, his last left, comes in at. As we said, it looked to be possibly one of the better ones that he's caught in this left category. And yeah, you see Jan, I saw a 6 there momentarily for the third score, or actually the last score of Jan Vaj. But Kieran, just a little off timing, did a good job swooping that roundhouse cut back all the way to the whitewater, which the judges do like to see. But unfortunately, the consequence is that you get stuck behind that second section, couldn't get the board up in the open face, and the staff talking to the boys down there, making sure that everything's all good, how they feel. You see the artwork on the bottom of Jan Vaj's board right there, the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in honor of this Abu Dhabi All-Star event. He made that board especially for this event, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have one transition wave right here. Of course, our athletes not missing any opportunity. Daniel Hughes gonna go out there and, hey man, if there's a wave coming through unridden, I wanna go get it. So we're not letting any waves be wasted here at the Wadi Adventure Park in the UAE.
Exactly, Rocky, and just to reiterate for those who have just joined us, we've moved on to elimination rounds. So this is man on man. This is no longer a battle for the whole round. This is a battle between these two athletes to make it through to the next round. The best 3 waves will count to their overall score that will advance them or not to the semifinals. So this will be a crucial last set of waves for these guys, as they'll have 3 closeouts. Ian is looking more untouchable here. Not completely, but more untouchable as we come into the last waves, but should be an exciting showdown this.
Yeah, Jan has really opened up a sizable lead on Kieran Taylor, with the last score coming in at around a 6.25 for for Jan Vaj. So that's going to definitely, you're going to add that to his 8.83 from the first round of the rights. And then we'll see what he can do with the closeout section. Kieran Taylor, he basically needs to get something super spectacular to advance on here.
On this closeout wave, the two athletes are being asked to watch the wave, make sure that they're comfortable riding it. We're just deciding what level to put it at because of the pump problems we're having there in the pool here, but we'll have it sorted momentarily as we watch this test wave come through. It looks like we've got a guinea pig here in the form of Daniel Hughes, who's going to see if it's rideable or not. But meanwhile, I'm going to pass you over to Remy Keek. He's going to come and give us some Portuguese explanation and support your job here, Rocky. It's great joining you guys.
Yeah, thank you. And since we do have quite a few Brazilians in here, I'm sure we have Brazilians tuning in. So we're going to bring Remy in for some Portuguese translation as we see Daniel Hughes riding this closeout. It looked like it was a little bit weaker from that left angle, but both surfers will have the same wave to work with. So it's still, somewhat of a level playing field, even with one pump down.
So here we have a replay of Daniel Hughes' last wave. Let's take a look at this wave. But
so
yes,
you can see that side is breaking a little bit farther in.
Yeah. So I'll be checking out here, but I will be back to join you because Remy obviously can't commentate on his own heat. So I might well be back in that one to help out the French audience. My Portuguese is not strong enough to help with the Brazilians, I'm afraid, but we'll do what we can. Okay, Rocky, I'll see you in a little
Tristan,
bit.
thank you. Back to work, Tristan goes outside to update the competitors on the beach, on our concrete beach here, and I'll be joined once again by Remy Keek, who is in quarterfinal number 3. Had a great performance yesterday, posted some pretty high scores. He had an 8-point score in there, so I'm sure you're looking forward to competing, but you do have a very formidable competitor in the name of Kyle Vaj.
Yeah, for sure. I need to give everything because Kyle is ripping. He's surfing so well, and I need to give everything on my next hit with him. Então, depois vou ter que surfar com o Caio. Então, que pena, eu preferia surfar com outro, mas eu tenho que surfar contra o Caio. O Caio tá quebrando muito, tá surfando muito. Então, eu vou ter que fazer que nem ontem, dar tudo, só pegar nota acima de 8, porque para conseguir passar desse quarta de final com o Caio é só em cima de 8, porque ele tá quebrando mesmo.
So, how long have you been living in Brazil?
No, I'm living there is 12 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's quite a while.
Yeah, for this one, my passport is French, but my heart is Brazilian. It's so many times there. I have my wife, and yeah, it's so good country. Brazil, people are amazing, and it's really good. Então, ele perguntou fazia quanto tempo que eu morava no Brasil. Agora faz 12 anos. Que nem eu falei, eu tenho passaporte francês, mas sou brasileiro de coração, porque é um país maravilhoso. Parabéns para todos os brasileiros. E muito obrigado por me receber nesse país maravilhoso.
And you see Kieran Taylor giving his input to some of the staff here. Yeah. He serves here every day, so I'm sure he's got quite a bit of knowledge of, what the wave should look like or what they could do to possibly just make the situation as best as possible for all the athletes.
I was speaking with Kieran when I arrived here, and he told me when they built here, during 3 months, it was nobody. It was just him and 2 guys from the staff for testing the swimming pool, everything, then he knows really good. Quando eu cheguei aqui, eu estava conversando com o Kieran Taylor, e quando eles construíram essa piscina, esse parque aqui, durante 3 meses, ele surfou sozinho com outro cara daqui da equipe, essa piscina de onda. Então ele conhece muito bem, por isso que ele estava falando agora com a equipe sobre a onda por causa dessa bomba que parece que quebrou, que tem um problema, porque na verdade a onda ela funciona assim, tem 10 bombas, atrás daquela parede que você está vendo escrito What the Adventure, tem 10 bombas, aí ela sobe a água, aí demora quase eu acho que 1 minuto e 30 para subir a água, e depois solta a água, e na hora que solta a água que vai criar a onda, e dependendo como que solta, se são as bombas de fora em primeiro ou as bombas do meio em primeiro, dependendo como que ele solta, faz uma direita, uma esquerda, uma fechadeira O também tem o que vocês não viram, que a gente não está usando para o campeonato, mas que eles usam mais para os iniciantes, é o E-frame. Aí é uma onda em forma de A. Aí dá para pegar uma direita e uma esquerda. Agora o Benoît Carpentier, voilà, Benoît le français, premier cutback en shortboard. On va voir, hop, un re-entry, oh, dommage. Donc ça c'était Benoît de France. Bonjour à tous les Français qui regardent.
So Jan is out there waiting to see if we're going to be having the wave, do what it's supposed to do, and so they can perform appropriately. It looks like the left side, from our view, the left side of the pool is not pushing as much. If this is supposed to be a closeout right now, it's definitely pushing stronger from the right side and making it look like the rights again almost.
Yeah.
So
it looks like the last pump on the left is broken or something like that. I don't know. Maybe not release so good the water.
I heard them talk about some debris, possibly something inside that's malfunctioning, but
parece que porque depois que solta a água, as bombas elas vão sugando a água. E parece que essa última bomba do lado esquerdo tem um lixo, alguma coisa que entrou, um pedaço de plástico, não sei, uma folha, enfim. Por causa disso tá meio. Então a gente tem que esperar, que nem no mar, quando acaba as ondas, a gente tem que esperar.
So it looks like Jan gonna paddle to the middle right now, and then we'll see which side he chooses to take off on. We know that he does enjoy the left closeout to use his backside attack.
Yeah.
But it looks like right now he's gonna stick to the rights for this first closeout attempt of quarterfinal number 1. And he's up against Kieran Taylor, who's one of the first guys to be even surfing in this pool. And definitely one of the locals that surfs here all the time. Here goes Jan, he's paddling, stroking into this one. He gets it, fades a little to the right. Nice bottom turn there, slashing in the open face. Now pumping down the line for some speed. And sliding the tail, digs a rail and goes down. Very shallow right there too. Need to be very careful not to go head first. But he looks to be okay. And one nice turn and then one incomplete turn for Jan Vaj's first attempt on the closeout.
Primeira onda do Jan, ele fez a primeira manobra muito boa, uma rasgada bem forte. Aí depois ele foi pegar velocidade para fazer a última manobra na junção. Agora tem uma coisa que onde ele caiu tem muito pouca água. Parece que justamente por causa desse problema da bomba, a onda está fechando um pouquinho mais perto da beira. Então ele tem que ter cuidado porque ontem eu bati aí.
So the scores coming in earlier for Jan Vaj's left was a 6.33, so he has now built a pretty good lead on Kieran Taylor with that 8.83 of the first round in the rights, then posted that 6.33 for his last wave on the left. And we're gonna see what his score was for the closeout, but nonetheless, Kieran Taylor finds himself pretty far behind with a 4.17 and a 4.83. He needs a really big score right now.
Então acabou de sair a nota do Jan, a esquerda, a última esquerda que ele pegou, ele fez 6.33. Então ele também está ganhando do Kieran nessa segunda bateria de onda para a esquerda. Agora a gente está esperando a nota dele da direita. Agora o Kieran, se ele quer passar, ele vai ter que, não sei se ele tem que mandar nota 10, mas tem que quebrar tudo.
It's interesting when you watch Kieran surf, and even yesterday, like we said, he's like the local surfer here, and you can definitely feel the vibe on the beach and in the park when he catches the wave and finishes. Everybody's applauding and clapping for him as he takes off on this from the right side, going into the closeout, pumping down the line, and just a nice floater to finish. Nothing all that really radical, but definitely
Clean surf.
Just a clean, well-surfed wave. We'll see what kind of score he gets there.
Então o Kieran Taylor acabou de pegar uma onda, que nem ele estava falando aqui, cada vez que ele pega uma onda, a torcida local tá gritando para ele, que ele está com a torcida do lado dele. Pronto, primeiro cutback com o remo invertido, depois ele foi pegar velocidade para fazer um floater. Então nada muito radical, mas limpo. Pegou uma onda limpinho. Vamos esperar as notas. Agora o Ian, a última direita do Ian, ele pegou 4.13.
And now it will be back to Jan Vaj, who will once again sit on the right side here and try his best to improve on a score of, his last one was a 4.13, so he wants to try to get better than that to count his best score in this closeout section part of quarterfinal number 1. Coming up next, quarterfinal number 2, yet another Brazilian, Leco Salazar, the current world champion, will be matched up against the young, exciting, very enthusiastic from Maui, Cody Kerbox, and that should be a good one.
Então agora o Ian que está esperando para a segunda onda dele, e a próxima bateria vai ser o Leco Salazar com o Cody Kerbox. O Leco Salazar, que é o campeão mundial, que trouxe o primeiro título para o Brasil. Então, tomara que tem toda a galera do Santos que está olhando agora o live para torcer para o Leco, que o Cody surfa muito também, surfa muito na piscina, surfa muito bem, então o Leco tem que dar tudo. Agora o Ian está pegando a segunda onda dele, um primeiro botão terno, uma boa rasgada, vai pegar a velocidade, uma segunda, parece que a água mexeu um pouquinho. Vamos ver se ele vai conseguir melhorar a primeira nota dele. Dá pra ver que agora o closeout não tá tão bom quanto ontem ou quanto de manhã, por causa desse probleminha com a bomba. Mas bom, de qualquer jeito, os dois surfistas estão com exatamente o mesmo problema, a mesma onda, então não tem erro não. O Ian que tem que se adaptar nessa onda. Então a gente vê a última manobra. Dava para puxar um pouquinho mais. Porque ontem eu vi ele mandar umas manobras iradas, soltou as quilhas, quebrou tudo.
So Jan Vaj gets another score. That's his second attempt at the closeout section. Now Kieran has another chance, and Kieran is, like we said, he's got a 2.9 on his last wave. He needs a very big score to catch Jan Vaj. So things are looking pretty good for the Brazilian with 2 more attempts left. Unless Kieran can pull out something really, really spectacular, it will be Jan moving on to the semifinals, and then we'll be seeing heat number 2 coming up in just a few moments. And then Remy, you must be getting pretty excited. Based on what you've been watching, what's going to be the strategy for you?
We'll try to, on the first wave, to get secure, to don't fall, because you see it's really easy to fall, and if you want to push too much your board, your maneuver, you can fall. Then I will be on the first one quite secure, and after on the second you need to give everything.
Right.
On the second and the third wave you need to give everything.
Yeah.
Então ele me perguntou da minha estratégia com a minha bateria. Eu vou tentar a primeira onda ficar muito tranquilo para não cair, depois a segunda, a terceira eu vou dar tudo, porque para ganhar do Caio tem que dar tudo.
There goes Kieran. Really fast down the line. Another nice, clean surfed wave, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get him the score he needs to even come close to what Jan Vaj has been able to do. Unfortunately, Kieran got behind early and then had a hard time climbing back into it.
Então, segunda onda do Kieran, um primeiro cutback com o remo invertido, depois ele pegou velocidade e fez um floaterzinho. Então vai ser complicado para ele passar do Ian. Com certeza o Ian está muito confortável agora, está na liderança. Vamos ver se ele vai conseguir ainda melhorar a liderança dele, mas ele está muito tranquilo. Agora ele tem que mandar tudo só para o espetáculo, para a galera do Brasil vibrar, para ver ele quebrar.
So Jan Vaj just one wave away from advancing into the semifinals. He's going to have his last attempt here. Probably just could be a victory lap for him. He can hear his scores being spoken over the loudspeaker on the beach, and he knows that he's got quite a big lead. We might see something of a spectacular attempt. You never know what you're going to see from this young, talented Brazilian surfer, but nonetheless, he knows he's got a big lead, and we'll see if he can possibly try something, a little bit more radical, knowing that he's got a big lead.
Então, quando a gente está na água, dá para ouvir as notas. Então, o Ian, ele sabe que ele está bem para frente, ele tá tranquilo. Vamos ver se ele vai tentar uma manobra louca, que nem ele fez ontem, que agora ele está tranquilo para passar para a semifinal. Então, de qualquer jeito, ele já está seguro de ter a quarta colocação desse campeonato. Então, vamos lá, vai Ian, primeira rasgada, agora vai pegar a velocidade, aí vai tentar o reverse. Quase. Não. Que pena, ontem ele passou virada.
So here he goes, paddling for his last wave, making sure he gets into it. First of all, you don't want to miss your attempt there because that'll be a wasted try. So making sure he gets into the wave. See a beautiful bottom turn with that nice tail slashing maneuver. He's got that one down.
Yeah.
He knows how to do that very well. And then trying to crank it around and possibly go for the carving reverse, but doesn't quite get the board all the way around. You see the beautiful artwork on the bottom of this board, the Grand Mosque there for Sheikh Zayed, and we'll probably get a good shot of it there. You see the beautiful piece of art in surf on Jan Vaj, and providing Kieran doesn't do something extremely radical, he might even be comboed right now because Jan Vaj has got that 6.33 and 8.83. He's now going to count the last, his highest score of that last exchange. That will put even more pressure on the local boy Kieran Taylor.
Então agora vamos esperar a última onda do Kieran. É a única oportunidade do Kieran de virar a bateria, mas eu não fiz a soma das notas, mas com certeza ele tem que pegar um 9 ou um 10, e mesmo assim nem sei se vai ser suficiente para passar do Ian. Então o Ian está esperando a última onda do Kieran, ele está tranquilo na praia. Quem sabe, de repente o Kieran faz uma última onda tipo Kelly Slater, mas eu acho que não. Eu acho que o Ian quebrou tanto e fez umas notas boas, então...
Kieran very close to the wall right now, almost out of our frame. You can see him kind of touching the wall with his paddle, waiting for this wave to come in. There it comes, he's paddling, turns around, and it gets into it clean. Now pumping down the line, little nice cutback, beautiful paddle transition there. Needs to do something spectacular here, but that is just similar to what we've been seeing, and that won't do it. So congratulations to Jan Vaj going on to the semifinals in this Abu Dhabi All-Stars quarterfinal. Jan Vaj taking the heat over Kieran Taylor. Now we're gonna go into quarterfinal number 2. This should be interesting because it'll be our first matchup in the quarters where we see a goofy foot against a regular foot. So that could be proving interesting. Also bringing into play the fact that one pump is down and it's affecting the wave just a little bit. So we'll see how that Leko and Cody are able to handle that.
Então a gente acabou de ver a última onda do Kieran, que não vai render muitos pontos para ele. Então agora o Ian passou, a galera do Rio deve estar muito feliz, o Beto, a Katia, que são os pais dos irmãos Vaz, deve estar muito amaradão, com o filho seguindo para a semifinal aqui em Abu Dhabi, desse Watermelon Invitacional, que eu tentei colocar em português, não legal, mano. Agora a próxima bateria vai ser o Leko Salazar com o Cody Kerbox, que vai ser interessante, que o Leko é goofy, o que significa que quando ele surfa para a esquerda ele está de frente, e o Cody Kerbox, que é regular, aí ele surfa de frente na direita. Então vamos ver a diferença.
And leave it up to Fernando Stala to be doing a little surf lesson during the transition wave to some lucky blonde wahine right there that he's gonna push on her possibly her very first wave. But Fernando, the
Don Juan?
Don Juan
from Mexico.
From Mexico. He's definitely.
A gente acabou de ver na tela o Fernando, que é o surfista mexicano, que surfa pra caramba, ontem mandou um 1-0 muito bom. Na transição das baterias, ele levou uma loirinha para fazer uma aula de surf. Ele não perde tempo, não, Fernando. Acho que mexicanos são igual brasileiro. Vê uma loirinha, já vai dar aula.
So here comes a transitional wave. Looks like Zane Schweitzer's out there, and he can't keep that guy contained in a box.
He wants to take everything. Since we are here, Zane wants to take all the wave.
And yep, so surf lesson going on inside there for
And Zane is
Fernando Stala. Zane up and riding, working his backhand.
Yeah, and the girls stand up and nice. Ontem o Zen quebrou na hora da bateria de close-out, ele mandou um aero, a primeira nota 10 do campeonato, foi incrível, ele foi para a esquerda, mandou uma primeira rasgada boa e depois mandou um aero, saiu as quilhas, saiu a prancha e tudo, e o mais importante é que ele conseguiu pousar a manobra muito bem, sabe? Muito limpo. Então parabéns para o Zen, que é surfista de Havaí, de Maui, filho do inventor do windsurf. Dá para ver o varial. Ele tentou um varial.
Yeah, going for the shove it
Shove it,
varial
yeah,
right there. Like that was one of those new school attempts, the kind of the progression of stand-up paddle surfing.
Yeah, he's one of the most progressive stand-up paddler in the world. Sure.
And I think we're going to have yet another transitional wave, and then we'll have Leko and Cody Kerbox doing battle. Looks like Daniel Hughes out there for the transitional wave. The guys that are, they lost out in the sudden death round, that they want to try to get as much surfing as they can in before we have to leave this beautiful place. I was fortunate to get out this morning before you guys all came, and me and a couple of the judges and Kieran and a couple other guys got some fun surf for about 30 minutes, and it was quite enjoyable. Of course, the wind was pretty strong, but once you got into the wave, it didn't really affect you too much. So it was a lot of fun still.
Então já entrou na água o Leco e o Cody Kerbox, que vão esperar o início da bateria. O Leco Salazar, campeão do mundo, que trouxe o primeiro título para o Brasil, surfista de Santos, filho do Picuro Salazar, que é o surfista com mais títulos no Brasil, uma família de surfista.
And there goes the surf lesson on the inside.
Yeah, the girls stand up. Nice. E o Fernando que está dando aula para a Lourinha, que conseguiu pegar a primeira onda dela.
Fernando does teach surfing in Mexico too, as what I've heard. So
o Fernando é professor de surf lá no México também.
So he's feeling right at home right now with that señorita on the inside over there, getting her a couple of waves.
É igual o Leco, é toda a família dele com a escola de surf lá de Santos. Muitos surfistas daqui são professores de surf também. Então agora estão vendo o Fernando, o mexicano, com a loira que ele encontrou na praia. Tomar, eu não sei se ele tem uma mulher.
The Mexican stud at work right there, bro.
I hope that he don't have a wife in Mexico.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't act like it, so.
Because woman is really jealous in here.
So Zane Schweitzer still out there. I wonder where our competitors are. There I see Leko getting ready on the inside with the blue jersey. He'll be out first. Cody Kerbox will be in the white.
Então o Leco está entrando agora ele vai começar primeiro, tá com a camisa azul, com a prancha, a bandeira do Brasil, uma prancha do Neco Carbono, muito boa, igual o Ian também tem uma prancha do Neco Carbono da Art and Surf. Agora o Leco está com uma prancha, eu acho que 8.0 por 27, já o Ian estava com uma 7.4, 7.5 por 24. E todo mundo no campeonato está com prancha de 6.5 por 25, tá todo mundo com prancha muito pequena.
And Leko now in our frame. Zane trying to tell him, go get this one, or let me get this one and I'll get out of your way. Not sure what they're communicating. Looks like Leko will make it out. and wait for this next wave while Zane will give way to the heat that's in the water. Quarterfinal number 2, Zane coming up in quarterfinal number 4, not worried about his lack of energy, obviously.
Yeah.
And here goes the first wave for Leco.
Primeira onda do Leco, uma cavada boa, primeira rasgada, e ele foi alto, ele subiu demais, aí perdeu a onda.
Well, you saw the power that he put into the bottom turn. You knew he was going to try to attack the wave nice and high, which is what the judges want to see.
Yeah.
But the risk of doing that in this wave pool is that there is not as much power up near the lip as there is in some of our ocean waves. So he kind of missed that section just a little bit, and like we've been talking, just a fraction of an inch off, and he has to go out of that wave.
O Leco na primeira onda ele fez bottom turn muito forte, muito boa, mas na hora que ele chegou lá em cima ele ficou meio colada, porque justamente o problema dessa piscina de onda é que não tem lip que está jogando para colocar você de volta na onda, então tem que ter cuidado para não ficar lá em cima muito tempo, entendeu? Tem que fechar rapidinho a curva para já voltar perto da espuma, que senão você perde a onda, o que ia acontecer agora com o Leco, infelizmente. Mas eu tenho certeza que já na segunda ele vai conseguir melhorar. Agora, a primeira cavada dele, o bottom turn dela foi muito bom, entrou perto da parede, porque para conseguir para conseguir a onda um pouquinho cavada, você tem que começar a onda mesmo na parede, porque se você ficar longe da parede, aí você só fica naquela parte mais ruim da onda.
So
como a onda é muito curta, não pode perder tempo.
Now Cody will have his first chance on the right-hander. And it's interesting because the surfers are able to just relax and watch their competitor.
Yeah.
So
it's so cool.
It's very nice to be able to just relax, watch them, not have to battle for the wave. So everybody knows that you're going to get this much waves. The next one literally has your name on it.
Yeah.
And that's one other reason why you better not miss it.
Uma coisa muito boa que ele estava falando é que nesse campeonato, na piscina de onda, a grande vantagem é que você pega uma onda após a outra, aí dá para você esperar na beira, aí você olha o seu oponente pegando a onda. Então é muito bacana para ver o que ele está fazendo e ficar relaxado. Então, primeira rasgada do Cody Kerbox.
Nice paddle transition there for Cody, and he lays a little too much into that turn. His front foot was a little off center, and it cost him right there. But so far, his wave was better than Leco's, so he's ahead in the heat right now. But we're still very, very early on in the heat, and we'll watch a replay right here.
Então, primeira onda do Cody, fiz bottom turn e depois cutback, sem trocar o remo. Agora na segunda manobra ele troca o remo de mão, só que dá para ver que o pé dianteiro mexeu um pouquinho e ele acabou caindo. Só que parece que a onda dele está melhor que a do Leco por enquanto. Mas, bom, o campeão do mundo com certeza vai conseguir na segunda onda ou na terceira mostrar o surf dele. Que por enquanto ele ainda não mostrou o surf dele.
I think it's going to be the guy who can kind of figure out something, like you saw Zane trying that shove it move.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to take somebody getting creative because everybody's being dealt the same wave, you know, doing the same turns over and over
this
again.
championship, of this World Tour here in the swimming pool in Wadi Adventure, is that everybody are on the same wave, everybody is pushing each other, everybody is looking everybody.
Yeah.
It's so good, you can learn so many things, you know.
Right, by watching your competitors for sure.
It's so good. We can push the level, and it's really good for stand-up paddling.
Yeah, and it's going to take somebody who's got to do something, I think, outside the box. They got to get creative.
And what the judge want to see.
Yep, so the progression is definitely easy to see here, and Leco now waiting for his second opportunity to show his stuff on the right-hander. You see a water cameraman in there along with another GoPro shooter as Leco drops in on his backhand, and a little more conservative on this one, making sure he made that first turn, gets turn number 2 in there, and here's the end section, little tap off the top, and then puts another one up there, and still's got another.
Nice.
We've got five maneuvers in there, so that might be the most maneuvers we've seen so far, albeit not that critical, but nonetheless way better than his first wave, and he's going to be sitting on top now. Cody has seen that one and puts the pressure back on him.
Então o Leco pegou a segunda onda dele, primeira manobra agora. depois que ele fez a segunda, ele ficou um pouquinho mais conservador do que o normal, que normalmente ele manda muito mais a prancha a meio-dia, mas foi muito bom porque assim ele conseguiu mandar 5 manobras, então pelo menos ele está com uma nota segura.
Yeah, that fourth turn actually, he got his board, pretty high up above the lip. It was during the smaller part of the wave, but probably the most board he got out of the water on that turn. And like we said, the first turn he wanted to make sure that he completed his maneuvers, kind of like what you were talking about, possibly the strategy you're going for is, to just make sure you get a decent score, that way you can build on it.
Então o Cody está esperando. Agora é o Cody que está com um pouquinho de pressão, porque ele acabou de ver o Leco mandando 4 manobras.
Right now we're going to go downstairs and we're going to have an interview with Kieran Taylor and see what he has to say about this Wadi Adventure Park.
The quarterfinal one there, man. How did he go for you?
It was good. It was quite a long heat. It lasted an hour and something. But I was a bit nervous at the beginning, but then I sort of calmed down after a while. Had fun. It was good. Jan was surfing really well, so I enjoyed watching him, and I got a few waves. Glad to get to the quarterfinals. I'm pretty happy with my performance.
Right on, man. And you looking forward to having more events like this over here at your pool?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it's definitely a good venue for running surf competitions, and bring them on as many as possible. It'd be great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, good job out there. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks, Jay.
All right.
Backing up a first score of a 417. Of course, we're only counting their single best score from each of the categories. This category right now is the right-hander. And last score for Leco Salazar comes in at a 5.83, so that's his best so far. Cody Kerbox now, watching the replay, nice, power into that turn. He's a young kid, he's got a lot of energy. And the second turn just looked a little bit shaky on the second turn. Really trying to use his legs, get that low center of gravity to throw the tail. I think he was expecting the tail to release a little bit more.
Então a gente acabou de ver a segunda onda do Cody Kerbox. Ele tentou soltar um pouco a rabeta, mas parece que não conseguiu soltar o quanto que ele queria. Lá no fundo tem o Leco que está esperando a terceira direita dele. A segunda onda do Leco foi 5.83. Então tem 2 juízes que deram 6 e um juiz que deu 5.5. Então dá 5.83.
Well, both surfers putting their best score in their second wave. This is a very close one. It's the first heat was kind of a runaway with Jan Vaz taking a very early lead, jumping on Kieran from the start. But this one, I think, is probably going to come down to the last closeout wave, possibly. These guys are very head-to-head right now.
A primeira bateria do Jan e do Kieran, o Jan dominou mesmo aquela bateria, deu umas notas muito boas. Já essa bateria, do jeito que está por enquanto, parece que está bem perto. O Leco que está pegando a terceira direita dele, a última direita. Pronto, primeira manobra, ficou um pouquinho colado na espuma. Segunda manobra, agora vai para a terceira, bota 11 horas a prancha. Aí é uma quarta manobra.
So he's able to throw it up a couple times on that last section, really similar to what he just posted. And look at the score, the last one of Cody Kerbox. They really like that one. They awarded Cody with a 7.5, so he takes the lead over Leco with the last score of a 5.83. This one here for Leco, really similar to his second wave. Got the turn in of the first one right there. Got a little bit hung up right there, and that might have affected the rest of his wave. Nice check turn right there for Leco, and gets one more nice board out of the water there. And then this one he goes up, just tries to go a little more vertical. And at that point it's just, you're just trying to milk every little ounce of energy out of the wave.
Então, a segunda onda do Cody foi 7.5, então por enquanto é o Cody que está na frente. Essa terceira onda do Leco não saiu ainda a nota, foi boa. Agora, para quem conhecer, dá para ver que a onda não é fácil, porque a terceira manobra dele, quando ele mandou a prancha, quem surfa com ele lá em Santos sabe que sempre o Leco ele manda a prancha meio-dia. Só que aqui é complicado. Aí ele mandou 11 horas, então não... Vamos ver a nota que os juízes vão dar para o Leco.
Well, I think what we're seeing right now is, and we talked about the goofy foot against the regular foot. So far, it's Cody, the regular foot, able to capitalize on surfing the rights. We'll see if the tables turn for Leco's favor when the lefts come up. As we see Cody in position for his final attempt on the rights, already posting a 7.5, taking a bit of a lead on Leco Salazar. Here goes Cody up and riding right now.
Então, o Cody que está entrando na onda, primeiro cutback com o remo invertido, segunda rasgada, vamos ver se ele consegue melhorar 7.5, vai tentar um 360 e não consegue.
And that'll be one of his throwaway waves. You saw even his second turn, he was still trying to release that tail. That one didn't work for him, and then went into the 360 attempt, which was incomplete. You see here, the first turn was great.
Yes.
Got a lot of speed down the line. Did the full wraparound cutback on the rail. The judges like those rail turns. And unfortunately here for the second turn, went for the release, got real low, but the tail didn't pop out, and then went for the 360. You can see his back foot moving way on the tail, but not quite enough, and Cody goes down. So, but nonetheless, his second wave, so far, Cody in the lead with a 7.5 against Leco's highest score of 5.83.
Então agora a gente vai passar para a onda da esquerda.
And there goes your competitor getting a little practice wave in the transition, bro. I don't know.
O meu oponente, o Caio, já está indo na água para treinar, parece, enquanto estou aqui, mas tudo bem. Vamos ver o que ele vai fazer, que agora é a transição. O que vai ser interessante é que agora na direita, o Cody estava de frente, estava de frontside, e o Leco estava de backside. Agora vamos ver se o Leco vai conseguir virar a mesa, que agora ele que vai ser de frontside e o Cody de backside. Só que tem uma coisa, pessoal, eu sei que o Leco, para mim, o backside dele é o melhor do mundo. É incrível como que ele consegue mandar a prancha meio-dia de backside. Então, eu estou um pouquinho preocupado agora na esquerda, porque eu sei que normalmente para a direita, pô, ele quebra. Ontem ele quebrou, ele mandou umas manobras assim, com a bandeira do Brasil a meio-dia. Então vamos ver o que vai dar agora na esquerda, mas todo mundo está torcendo para o Leco, com certeza. É o Cody que está esperando a gente, estão vendo agora o Cody com a prancha neste dele. E lá fora tem o Caio, que eu acho que ele está querendo pegar uma onda enquanto tem a transição. Caio que surfou muito bem, que também tem uma prancha muito pequena, eu acho que 7.5 para 25, que eu acho que é uma prancha Art and Surf do Pastor, que no Brasil tem muito shaper muito bom, o Pastor, o Neco Carbone. O Brasil está muito forte na construção de prancha, e dá para ver aí no Mundial que quando você vê a prancha dos outros gringos, o Brasil não faz feio não. Agora o Caio está entrando para pegar uma onda para treinar um pouco nessa esquerda. Vamos ver. Primeira manobra do Caio. Aí isso é o problema. Ele tentou ficar em cima demais, aí perde a onda. Esse que fica complicado. Ainda mais depois desse problema com a bomba. A esquerda é mais fraca. You know, the left is looking really mellow now with this problem.
I think it's a little bit weaker.
Yeah, it's weaker, yeah.
So it could be a problem for our goofy footers. We'll have to wait and see. But, you know, a real appropriate athlete and competition at this high level, it shouldn't matter. You should be able to work with it and perform just as good on your backhand as you do on your forehand. Kyle Vaz having a little bit of a almost pearl dive right there, and then missed. He hit that first section, but then couldn't get back into it. You're hoping that he does that during your heat.
No, I mean,
you don't ever want to wish.
No, I
somebody
prefer that Kyle just broke everything, but I broke better.
Right,
just
exactly.
a level.
Yeah.
Ele falou que eu tô esperando que ele caia igual na minha bateria. Eu falei, não, eu prefiro que ele quebra a bateria, que ele surfa muito bem, só que eu surfo um pouquinho melhor, assim para poder passar na semifinal. Já tem muito brasileiro agora, eu sou também brasileiro um pouco, mas eu sou francês também, então eu gostaria de estar na semifinal também.
You'll be happy if either of you make it. Of course, you want to make it. That's why you're here. But you don't wish any bad things to happen on your
sure.
fellow competitors' wave. That's a display of sportsmanship,
Exactly.
good sportsmanship. So that's just a little fun we're having there. But this is Leko Salazar now waiting for his left. We'll see if he can capitalize on his forehand. Here it comes.
Agora o Leko que tá remando para a esquerda, indo bem perto da parede, isso aí, tem que ir na parede. Primeiro cutback na borda, voltou na espuma para encontrar um pouquinho de força. Segunda rasgada, agora vai tentar... não sei, eu acho que ele meio que hesitou, acho que ele queria fazer aquele 360 dele, que é a marca dele, que ele sempre consegue mandar um 360 de nada. Aí no final eu acho que ele preferiu ficar seguro de acabar a onda bem. Vamos ver o replay.
Well, there he goes on the left with a nice big bottom turn. Slashing in the open face, looked a little bit lazy on the ending part of that turn. That was a nice one right there, and then recovered nicely. Almost went down, grabbed the rail to ensure that he completed a good first ride for the left to just make sure he gets a completed wave under his belt. But you can definitely see that the left is not going as long as the right due to the possible technical difficulty that's happening with the wave machine.
Então aí por causa daquele probleminha com a bomba, a esquerda ficou um pouquinho mais curta do que hoje de manhã ou ontem. Ontem a esquerda era a melhor onda. Eu achei que ontem a esquerda era melhor que a direita. Aí dava para fazer umas 4 manobras na esquerda. Agora está um pouquinho mais curto. Então vamos ver o que o Cody vai fazer de backside. Então de costa para a onda.
Now Cody will have his first chance on his backhand here. We'll see what he can do. Already with a 7.5 on the right compared to Leko's 5.83. And we're having that first score of the left come in for Leko. We'll update you when we get it. And meanwhile, Cody getting in position. Here it comes. Cody taking off right next to the wall, very close. Beautiful cut back there, throwing some spray out in the open face. And nice attack there for Cody, but unfortunately comes unglued, and that'll be an incomplete second turn for Cody Kerbox. Looks like Leko so far with the better of the first wave exchange.
Então, primeira onda do Cody para a esquerda. Ele deu um pouquinho de dificuldade para entrar na onda. Depois, primeiro cutback com o remo invertido. Depois, segunda rasgada. E depois aí caiu, mas eu acho que contou que completou a segunda manobra. Então, por enquanto, nessa bateria de esquerda, é o Leko que tá na frente. Então, vamos ver as notas, mas...
That second turn was very close. I initially said it could have been incomplete, but he made it down to the bottom of the wave and looked like intentionally let his board go because he was getting to the shallow.
For me, complete the second
That looked like a completed turn as well to me now. I watched the replay. And the score coming in so far pretty close. Dead even in this heat for the last wave that just came through both.
Então, os juízes estão soltando as notas, por enquanto eles estão a 5 cada um, mas só tem um juiz que soltou. Vamos ver os outros juízes.
So both surfers for their last wave have a 5 so far. The other two judges still yet to put in their scores, and we'll see how the average comes out and who is able to be ahead after the second exchange of the left. Here's Leko's, actually his second attempt on the left. See lots of photographers in the water now, swimming under, in front, so having to maneuver a little bit around. That was a nice second turn right there, and finishes with a little floater re-entry and another little foam climb. So Leko trying to put the pressure on a little more on Cody. That second turn, we'll see the replay, was a little more aggressive.
Agora, então, foi a segunda onda do Leko, que surfou melhor do que a primeira. Vamos ver o replay agora. Então, foi bem perto da parede. Primeira rasgada, muito boa. Voltou na espuma para encontrar um pouquinho de força. Agora, segunda rasgada. Pegou um pouquinho de velocidade, um floaterzinho. E depois subiu um pouquinho na espuma. Pronto, foi limpo, mas eu acho que já deu para melhorar a primeira nota com essa segunda onda.
Compared to his first wave, I thought his first turn on this wave was a little more stronger.
Yeah, he take more risk.
Yeah, and it was a little more on the rail. He didn't look as kind of relaxed as he did on his first one. So that might help his score a little bit. And then of course that second turn was nice and aggressive at the top of the wave, and was able to complete it and then finish with a lazy kind of floater on the inside. But definitely the meat of his score for that second one is in the first two turns.
Agora tem o Cody que está esperando a segunda esquerda dele.
And you see that left side of the pool there constantly bubbling. I wonder if that's part of the problem that we're having, because it's definitely, when the wave comes, that wasn't happening before.
Yeah, exactly. Agora o Cody, segunda onda, primeira rasgada, voltou bem na espuma. Então, segunda rasgada, na terceira, vai tentar mandar quatro, pronto, mandou 4 na manobra. Mas tem que ter muito cuidado, porque no final não tem mais água nenhuma, é concreto. Parece, parece lixa.
Yeah, you see how fast he jumps off right into the shallowness there with the concrete bottom, as we see Cody a little bit stuck, but recovers nicely when he got back to the whitewater section. And this one was a little bit quicker snap. Definitely one of the quicker ones that we've seen coming off the bottom, off the top, especially on the backhand right there. So we'll see if the judges noticed the difference there, and we'll see how the scores come through. We're still waiting for updates from their previous rides, but it is still, I'm going to say, it's a very, very close heat.
Very close heat, for sure. É uma bateria muito apertada entre o Leco e o Cody. Agora o Leco está esperando bem pertinho da parede, é a terceira onda dele, então é a última esquerda, é a última oportunidade para ele melhorar as notas dele. Está relaxado.
So just one more opportunity for Leco and for Cody on the left, and then we'll see the closeout wave, and it will be interesting to see which side they choose, because we have a goofy footer and a regular footer. I would right off the bat say Leco would probably go left, but noticing the little bit weaker side on this side, he might change it up and go for the right. But here he goes on his last left attempt, and we'll see what he can do with it. Nice layback turn right there. That was a quicker snap than what we've seen previously from Leco, and then just kind of gets stuck behind the white water there, so he kicks out.
Então, isso aí foi a última onda do Leco. Vamos ver o replay. Tomara que ele consiga melhorar a segunda nota dele, mas eu acho que a melhor onda foi a segunda. Mas vamos ver as notas do juiz. Então o Leco agora, primeira cavada bem baixo, bonito, boa rasgada, usando muito bem o remo. Segunda, botão muito bem feito, uma rasgada. Ele não foi muito forte, ainda bem, que senão ia ficar colado. É engraçado, na terceira manobra ele tenta um 360, que normalmente eu não sei, não, ele sempre consegue essa manobra. Sempre que eu surfo com o Leco, ele completa esse 360, eu acho que ele completa 95%. Mas lá eu não consegui completar, infelizmente.
Rocky Canyon with Remy Keek here, analyzing quarterfinal number 2. We got Leco Salazar, current world champion, up against the young Cody Kerbox from Maui. And Cody Kerbox just ahead by a fraction, and you would have to say that if Cody is able to pull out the victory here, it would be kind of an upset, even though Cody rips, but Leco is the world champion.
He's a world champion,
so
for sure.
He's definitely looking at, on paper, he's got to be the favorite in this heat.
Yeah.
But Cody really coming into his own the last couple of years, and even more in the last year. He's growing more, he's getting stronger. Like we said, he's very young, so he's got a lot of energy, and really on pace to have a really nice career.
And he's funny because he's two sons of legend, surfing legend.
Yeah.
He's a son of Buzzy Kerbox.
Yep. And of course, Leco coming from a very prominent surfing family in Brazil. And I think was his dad or his brother surfing in the Sunset Contest. I think
his dad.
Yeah, that was awesome.
A gente estava falando que é engraçado porque essa bateria foi uma bateria de filho de lenda. Porque o Leco é filho do Piqueiro Salazar, é o Cody Kerbox, é é o filho do Buzzy Carbox, que é um surfista de onda grande muito conhecido em Havaí, um lifeguard muito. Então agora a gente está vendo a terceira onda e última onda do Cody. Primeira rasgada com o remo invertido, segunda, foi boa, eu acho que de repente é uma das melhores ondas dele. Agora vamos ver a terceira e não consegui subir do jeito que ele queria na onda e no final cai. Há uns que tem esse tamanho de água, então tem que ter muito cuidado.
Now he's looking, okay, those 3 lefts. Now what do we do? Leko also in the background right there, there's going to be a transitional wave, I think, that we're going to push through. And then we'll get into our closeout part of the category here for quarterfinal number 2. Our score system is still getting updated. We possibly need to refresh the screen, so we still don't know the last few scores. So looking at both surfers,
It's tough.
it is very, very close. I mean, these guys are like head to head right now, and only the judges know what's going on, but it is a very close heat for quarterfinal number 2. Coming up next, quarterfinal number 3, it'll be Kyle Vaj against Remy Keek right here. And Remy, you got to be pretty excited to be in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, I'm really excited because the level is so high, and I'm really happy to arrive until quarterfinal because it was like 1 year that I don't do competition. I was working a lot, doing a lot of trip for French magazine Get Up, and I was not doing so many competition. But when I see Tristan doing this competition here in Wadi, I say, this is just amazing. I want to be part of it, and it's so.
So you flew here from Brazil?
No, from France. I was in France. Yeah, I was in France with my family, and it's a good period in France for wave. And I was in France. Then I flew from France because it's like 6 hours and a half from France. It's not so.
To here.
Oh,
that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not so far. It's not so expensive, and then I flew here, and I really wanted to be part of the first SUP competition in a swimming pool. You know, it's fine, a wave pool, wave pool.
Yeah. Well, and we heard some of our leaders here in the UAE talking about the historic event, how much this means to the UAE and the water park here, the Wadi Adventure Park. So just to be a part of it is very special.
Yeah.
And to do well is even more special.
Yeah, I was so happy, and yesterday I enjoyed a lot. You know, on the right it was so good, and on the left the wave is good. It's funny, you know, and to be with all the boys.
Yep.
Então estava falando que ele me perguntou se eu estava feliz de estar na quarta de final. Eu falei, claro, ainda mais estou muito feliz de participar desse campeonato que é o primeiro mundial numa piscina de onda. Então isso aí é muito interessante de estar com todos os competidores, que tem um astral muito bom com todo mundo, com a equipe do Brasil, que é o Ian, o Caio, o Leco, eu. Então é muito bacana, estou muito feliz, ainda mais consegui surfar bem ontem. Então por isso estou na quarta de final hoje. Então eu vou tentar representar o Brasil e a França também, os dois. Me dar bem, conseguir passar na semifinal, mas o mais importante é se divertir. É isso que a gente está fazendo desde que a gente está aqui. Todo mundo está se divertindo muito, está muito bacana.
In the last wave of Daniel Hughes, he was our transitional surfer right there. You noticed that the closeout section earlier today, before the glitch of the wave pool, you noticed that it was more in the middle. That last wave, the section was way over here to the right side, to the surfer's right side. So that proves even more that the one side of the pool is not pushing as hard as it was before. So that should be an interesting factor into the upcoming strategy for the rest of the competitors in the field.
Então a gente estava falando agora com essa onda de closeout que o Daniel Hughes pegou, dá para ver que o closeout não está tão bom quanto ontem, porque tem uma parte do closeout que não está fechando tão forte. Então aquele lip, quando você pega a direita, aquele lip não está batendo tanto. Então para mandar um aero vai ser um pouquinho mais complicado. Mas agora a gente está vendo o Leco que ele se posicionou para pegar o closeout do lado direito. Ontem ele mandou um re-entry muito bom. Vamos ver se ele consegue fazer igual agora na bateria dele. Ele está esperando a onda.
Well, one thing on your backhand, as Leco is going to show us right here, is that you can generate a lot more speed and a lot more power off the bottom turn. So we'll see if he takes advantage of being on his backhand here. Obviously, I think he's choosing the right because he realizes it's not as strong on this side. And if he goes left into that closeout, he won't be able to get as much speed. So Leco possibly will surf this one kind of like some of the rights that were coming in earlier, and he was able to get his board above the lip quite a bit with the big section on the end. We'll see if he can really push it vertical to impress the judges. Turn number 1, now pumping down the line, and it sees the section and really puts it up there. That was a pretty good snap.
Nossa, manobra muito boa do Leco agora. Mandou a prancha meio-dia, vamos ver o replay. Mas eu acho que ele escolheu bem de ficar na direita, que a direita é um pouquinho maior no início. Então dá pra ver que ele foi bem perto do muro. Um botão muito bem feito, primeira rasgada. Aí depois ele se posiciona na onda para pegar a velocidade. Aí que ele manda a prancha. Não mandou meio-dia, mas mandou muito bem. Eu acho que, por enquanto, é uma das melhores manobras que a gente vê de backside.
Yeah, I think he was able to get his board. Yeah. That was probably the best turn of his heat so far. With all the speed he was able to generate down the line and really step on the tail and put it up there. As you see the whitewater rafting crew getting pulled up the ramp, and you see the water splashing at the end. They're gonna get a fun ride down those rapids, all man-made, of course, here in the middle of the desert in the United Arab Emirates. Some of our lifeguard staff looking on and making sure everybody stays safe here at the Wadi Adventure Park. So mahalo to all of the beautiful staff here being so gracious and great hosts for our Abu Dhabi All-Star event, brought to you by Stand Up World Tour, the Waterman League, Turtle Bay Resort, among many of our other sponsors. And now Cody will have his first chance at the closeout portion of this quarterfinal number 2. And once again, we're still without scores here, so all we can tell you is that this heat is very, very close. And here goes Cody.
Então, Cody na primeira onda de closeout dele, primeira rasgada, segunda, agora ele vai pegar a velocidade para tentar mandar tudo. Aí ele não completa, ele cai na última manobra.
So 2 quick turns right off the bat for Cody, and then goes for the radical completion on the 3rd turn, but unfortunately tail released a little too much, caught his rail and went down, as you see here. Trying to fit as much work as he can into this wave. 2 just kind of quick snaps, throwing a little bit of tail, and then now he's eyeing up the section down the line. And squats low, gets his tail out, but the rail digs in and he goes down face first. Might have to say Leco with a little bit of an advantage going into the second wave. His first wave was a little bit better with the nice backhand snap off the top to finish that first closeout wave.
Então agora o Leco que está esperando a última. Is the last one, of Leco now?
This is will be the second.
Não, é a segunda onda do Leco.
He's a pretty soft-spoken guy. He does a lot of talking with his surfing.
Yeah.
He doesn't really say much. Yeah. He's pretty quiet, pretty shy guy, but he definitely lets his actions do the talking.
O que ele estava falando é que o Leco é o tipo de cara que não fala muito assim na praia, é o cara muito tranquilo, na dele e tal, mas ele deixa onde que ele fala é com o surfo dele. Na hora de surfar que ele fala mesmo, e ele fala alto, porque quem conhece ele sabe que o Leco merece o título de campeão do mundo, que ele está quebrando muito. Desde que ele começou esse Stand-Up World Tour, há 2 anos só que ele está no World Tour. Ganhou os 2 eventos no Brasil. Agora tá começando então o Leco. Primeira manobra, uma rasgada boa. Vamos ver o que ele vai fazer na junção. Aí ele finaliza. Eu acho que, não sei, vamos ver as notas, mas parece que a primeira foi melhor.
So we do have a little update of scores. So in the first category of the rights, Cody Kerbox posted a 7.5 against Leco's best score of a 5.83. As we're watching Leco's second attempt on the closeout, gets a nice little first turn in there, and then looking for a lot of speed and gets down the line and puts it up over the lip. I would say it's similar to his first wave.
Yes.
His first one might be a little better. And so far on the lefts that we saw earlier, we had Cody Kerbox with a 7.33 and very close Leko Salazar with a 7.27. So it's Cody taking the lead into the closeout section. We'll see how these last couple of scores come in, but Leko now needs to get something a little bit bigger and better if he's going to take out the young buck Cody Kerbox.
Então, por enquanto, é o Cody Kerbox que está na liderança. Na direita, a melhor nota dele foi 7.5 e na esquerda foi 7.33. E o Leko, na direita, a melhor nota foi 5.83 e na esquerda 7.27. Então, o Leko agora tem que, na última onda dele, vai ter que quebrar tudo para recuperar a liderança sobre o Cody Kerbox.
There's Leko talking to fellow Brazilian Kyle Vaj, and here's Cody Kerbox on his second closeout attempt, laying into the first turn, gets one more turn in there for good measure, and now with lots of speed gets down the line and completes it. But you know what I think possibly is that he may have compromised his third turn by fitting in that second turn. Instead of doing an extra pump to really throw it up there. He kind of went for quantity instead of the quality.
Exactly.
And that might have been a detriment. We'll have to wait and see.
Então, boa onda agora do Cody. Ele conseguiu mandar duas rasgadas boas. Depois pegou velocidade para finalizar com o entry que ele conseguiu completar. Que por enquanto é a melhor onda do Cody, que é a segunda onda dele.
So with those last scores, with the previous scores we read, it was it's Cody with the 7.5 and Cody with the 7.27. Leko was able to make a little comeback in the second round of the lefts with a 7.33 over Cody's 7.27. But however, Cody did better Leko in the first round of the rights by more than a margin than Leko bettered Cody. So right now, it is still very neck and neck, and these scores are going to be very important for these guys.
Agora o Leko está se preparando para a última onda dele, e por enquanto as notas são muito perto. O Cody está na liderança, mas vamos ver se o Leko vai conseguir melhorar as notas dele com essa terceira direita e última. Então, agora vou me preparar para a minha bateria, que já tem que ir. Então, muito obrigado por assistir a Galera do Brasil nesse Stand-Up World Tour aqui em Wadi Adventure. Então, vamos torcer para os brasileiros. Muito obrigado. Beijo para minha mulher. Tchau.
All right, Remy. Good luck,
See
buddy.
you.
Have a good one out there.
I go on my heat now.
Okay, brother.
Ciao.
So Remy will get ready for his heat. Leko putting it up over the top on that last turn. Nice and vertical right there for the last closeout attempt for Leko. Does it on his backhand. And now we will await Cody's last attempt for his closeout. I do see a wave 8 score. Wave number 8 for Cody Kerbox came in at an 8.33. And that is up against scores of 7.0 and 6.1 for Leko Salazar. So looks like Cody will be looking to better that score. He's already got a pretty good 8.33. Leko steps on the tail and puts it up there with a stomping snap, nice and vertical on that closeout section. Cody's final attempt coming up, and then we'll head into quarterfinal number 3. Kyle Vaj in the blue, and Remy Keek will be in the white. Kyle representing Brazil, Remy representing France on paper and with a passport, but actually has a family and a business and residence in Brazil. So he's kind of representing dual nations here at this Abu Dhabi All-Star event. We're in quarterfinal number 2. Cody Kerbox trying to see if he can move on to the semifinals, taking out the current world champion Leko Salazar, and that on paper would be somewhat of an upset. Park staff staying very on top of everything, and Cody going for the shove it and then switching his stance back around, didn't get the board quite turned around, and then slashing a little snap on the end, throwing some tail, but the nose goes under and he jumps off his board, unable to complete that last maneuver. But with the scores posted here, it looks like Cody Kerbox will be moving on. He's got a 7.5, a 7.27, and an 8.33. Leko Salazar posting a 5.83, a 7.33, and a 7.0. So Cody Kerbox advancing on into the semifinal, taking out the current world champion, Leko Salazar. And Cody's all smiles. Big shaka right there for that athlete in white of the Abu Dhabi All-Star quarterfinal. This stand-up surfing event brought to you by the Waterman League, as well as the Stand-Up World Tour. We gotta say big thank yous, big mahalo to the Abu Dhabi Sailing and Yacht Club, as well as UAE SUP, along with our gold patron sponsors here, Starboard, Nash, JP Australia, Fanatic, Art in Surf, Corban Stand-Up Paddle Boarding, Bic Sup, Puka Patch, Rogue Stand-Up Paddles, Body Glove, Mistral, and of course Focus SUP boards. All thanks so much, including Turtle Bay Resort, which has been such an instrumental sponsor in the growth of stand-up paddle surfing and stand-up paddle racing. Of course, this sport has kind of a dual facet, double-sided feature with the racing and with the surfing events that we have around the world. This year, or this event, will feature the surfing in this Wadi Adventure Park wave pool, and our race will be tomorrow at the beach in Abu Dhabi on Saturday, and then on Sunday we're gonna be doing a beautiful demo with a bunch of kids and adults that have never tried stand-up paddling. We're just gonna continue to spread the love of SUP around the world, literally in all four corners, and we are way far away from home here in the UAE, in the Middle East, spreading the love of stand-up paddling. It's pretty amazing. Thanks to all of those great sponsors I mentioned and the crew here at the Waterman League. So right now we're gonna have a transitional wave, I believe. Oh, and this will be surfer in white. That's Remy Key. He got out there quick. So Remy gets on it first as Kyle Vaj paddling out, and he'll get his first attempt. So Remy, with a couple of turns, he goes from the announcer booth to the competition area in quite rapid fashion. And I gotta say, traveling here all the way from the North Shore of Oahu has been quite interesting. We flew from Honolulu to South Korea on Korean Airlines, 10 hours and 10 minutes. And of course, everybody's been seeing in the news all of the rhetoric and spouting of war coming from North Korea. So it was nonetheless a bit nerve-wracking flying into South Korea. Good thing we were only there for a couple of hours and jumped on a plane out of there on Korean Airlines to Beijing, China. That was about a 2-hour flight, and from China we came here to Abu Dhabi on Etihad Airlines. And I didn't know Etihad was the #1 ranking airline last year by the World Travel Organization. They've actually been doing that for the last 4 years. And when I got on the plane, I had never heard of them, but when I got on the plane, I could see why they have been ranked as the best airline. You're sitting in coach, but you kind of feel like you're in first class. But that was an almost a 9-hour ordeal. So it was 21 hours of flight time plus 7 hours in layovers. We spent 5 hours in Beijing, China. And it was a 30-hour ordeal to get here. Only a couple lost baggage, lost luggage, but it all came back to us, and we're now just posted up deep in the Middle East at the Wadi Adventure Park. And here goes the first attempt for Kyle Vaj. Kyle, part of the brotherly duo that is doing battle out here, Jan Vaj and Kyle from Brazil. And Kyle, nice snap right there, releasing the fins, now pumping down the line and looking for one more tail releasing turn. Buries the nose just a little bit and is able to complete his third turn. Looks into the beach with a little bit of a smile, a little bit of a hair shake, and felt good on that one. Here's the replay. You see him dropping in, very nice, very in control. Big bottom turn. I'm sure his brother did the artwork on the bottom of his board as well, as he threw some tail on that first turn, and then the second turn was able to get the tail released just a little bit. Pumps down the line for turn number 3, little help from the paddle, and then throwing it up really nice on that third one. So that'll be a decent score there for Kyle Vaj. So these surfers, after their first 2 rights, they'll be catching 2 more rights each. Each surfer has ridden 1 right so far. They'll catch 2 more rights, then they'll catch 3 lefts, and then they'll of course do the closeout. And see Kyle doing a little bit of dancing. One thing about this Wadi Adventure Park, they do not ever stop the music. It is a constant DJ party on the beach here. They got speakers surrounding the pool, so when you're out there surfing, it's like you're surfing in a discotheque. So it's pretty intense, it's pretty awesome. And especially when it comes nighttime, they have lights that light up the park, light up the under the water. So we're gonna have a little bit of night surfing coming up later on as we get into our semis and our finals. And here goes the second attempt for Remy Keek. And Remy taking off. Nice bottom turn there, slashing in the open face, throwing some tail. And it gets another turn, kind of a check turn there. And then on to the inside section where he'll milk it for his second scoring ride. And Remy is up against a very formidable competitor in Kyle Vaj, because Kyle does well in all sizes of surf. He's a young, enthusiastic Brazilian that takes his surfing and his sport of stand-up paddling very seriously. That first turn for Remy, pretty good, gets some tail in there. The second one, not as critical as his first turn, and then the rest of these are just for good measure to keep the board moving and try to just give that last good impression on the judges as you finish a wave. Steps off onto the concrete and avoids being wrapped up by his leash. But if you do have another window available on your computer, check out the website right there, www.wadiadventure.ae. You can see all the great things that they have to offer here. If you're planning on heading out here or you're passing through, definitely take a drive into Alain, where our Wadi Adventure Park is located. We have surfing, of course. There is a whitewater rafting course. There is zip line action going on. There are kayak rapids to enjoy. And the staff here is really great as well. They got everything you need here, from food to beverages to different water sports. A hotel right nearby called 121 Hotels. That's been our host as we've been traveling throughout the UAE here. Here goes Kyle with his second attempt. Takes off clean. Nice turn right there. That board seems to be working very well for Kyle. And then throws it up over the lip and not able to complete the second turn. But I think his first score still will be standing as the best score so far in the heat. And coming up next, it will be Zane Schweitzer against the Aussie powerhouse Bo Nixon, who was able to battle through the sudden death round and advance into the quarterfinals. Zane, of course, with a perfect 10 yesterday on the closeout section left. It'll be interesting to see what happens because a lot of the goofy footers were depending on that left closeout section, and with the little bit of glitch in the wave pool, the left is not as strong going into the closeout. So we'll see if that affects the way that the surfers decide to surf and affects their decision on what direction that they want to go, either left or right when it comes to that closeout section. But right now, the wave pool is working perfectly for the rights, as being displayed by Kyle Vaj and Remy Keek. And there's Kyle talking to some of the fellow athletes near the shoreline here at the Wadi Adventure Park. But I was hiking up his shorts right there. He never get wet. Showing the beautiful white thighs down there. So right now, Remy waiting for his final attempt. Once again, 3 rights for each competitor, and then 3 lefts, and then 3 attempts at the closeout section. And we've seen some of our best scores during that closeout section, where it offers a very critical oncoming section for radical maneuvers. And here goes Remy. His passport says France, his heart says Brazil. And carving nicely on the first turn right there, now getting a lot of speed, beautiful paddle transition. And just a little too far on the second turn, does not allow him to get down the line for a third turn, but 2 quality turns there for Remy Keek as he finishes his final attempt for the right hand category. Surfing very close to the wall. Nice big bottom turn, goes right by the cameraman, throwing the board out there. Nice tail throw. His board looks just a little bit big. He's not a very large guy, so his board definitely floating him very well, but we'll see how that affects his ability to maneuver the board, especially since he's up against a very young, youthful, energetic Brazilian and talented surfer Kyle Vaj, who looks like he's on quite a small board that he's able to get the tail out and throw a little bit more progressive, and that's what the judges may be looking for as this sport just continues to grow. Not only grow in numbers, the more people are, so much people are stand-up paddling now. The growth of the sport in numbers has been tremendous, but also the growth in the surfing style has been equally tremendous from even a few years ago, where guys are riding 8-9 foot boards. Now they're riding boards under 8 feet, able to do aerials, able to do 360s. It's just been progressing so fast. And it's almost like watching conventional surfing progress from the 60s to the 90s. We're watching stand-up paddling do the same progression all within a few years. So that's very interesting to see. The board designs are getting more progressive. The surfers are getting even more athletic, able to balance on these tiny boards, as we see Kyle Vaj, a very good example of one of the progressive stand-up paddle surfers in the world, sliding the tail on that first turn and getting another little tail slide right there, able to hold the momentum for the final section, and we'll see what he does. Going for the reverse, can't quite get it all the way around, but I think his first wave might have been the best of the exchange, and both surfers are through with their round 1 right hand category, and we'll see how the scores have come in for each Remy Keek and Kyle Vaj. And you see all those drains in the background as Kyle finishes that wave. That helps drain some of the water out so that there's no reverb. And there's a look at the mountain range in the distance just beyond the water park. There is a very tall, just huge rock formation mountain. And birds fly into the caves up there. We see mountain goats that we've seen yesterday. It's a pretty spectacular vista, and just a awesome venue right here. We got a lot more wind today than yesterday, especially this morning. It seems to be dying off just a tad, And hopefully into the evening it gets a lot less windy and we'll be able to have the competitors perform in cleaner conditions. Nonetheless, still very, very beautiful here. No shortage of sunshine. And it looks like Remy is on the right-hand side. So Remy dropping into his final right-hand attempt. Beautiful camera work from our crew here at the Waterman League, panning across this lovely Wadi Adventure Park. We got quite a few cameramen in the water getting some epic water shots as well. Gotta say mahalo to Johnny, to Christian, to Maddie, as well as Max, getting some great shots along the edges of the water park and the wave pool here. Also O'Neill, Koipo, Tristan, all of our staff doing a great job. And we got a transitional wave in between the categories here. So there's Connor Baxter, not going to let any wave go to waste at the wave pool. Okay, cool. All right, and we see Connor Baxter getting the transitional wave, and we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the second category for this quarterfinal number 3, going to be all lefts, coming up right after the break. There is so much more to explore, so much more to do and experience here on the North Shore. And whether it be in the ocean, on the beach, or even in the mountains, Turtle Bay Resort is definitely your gateway to a host of activities.
Kai Lenny has proved himself to be one of the most versatile athletes in the world.
This place is just so amazing, Turtle Bay, and I've always gotten some amazing waves, and the North Shore, kind of hard to beat, so.
Turtle Bay has become his home away from home for good reason.
Well, the North Shore is such a special place.
I think there's some of the most hospitable people in the whole world right here.
What makes the North Shore so special is the people of Hawaii created the sport surfing, so it's only right the most exciting contest in the world go down here.
I think it's epic. It still has soul.
I just hope that one day everybody in this world gets to come and experience our little piece of paradise.
Turtle Bay, your gateway to the North Shore. So Kyle Vaj, we are back with quarterfinal number 3 and a crucial mistake right there for Kyle. As we've been saying all competition long, when the waves come in, if you miss your wave, that's your opportunity. You only get 3 attempts at each direction, and Kyle, crucial mistake. You see his hand on his head, very, very disappointed that he missed that wave. And Remy also, you heard him up here earlier, his sportsmanship, not wanting to see anybody do bad, but that was a wasted attempt for Kyle. He'll get just a fraction of a score, if a score at all. So now he just has 2 remaining attempts on the left. I do believe he's got a pretty good score in the first exchange. He was able to get an 8.0 for his first wave, so still in a good position, but Kyle, a perfectionist and a very, very hardened competitor, very disappointed in himself that he missed that wave, and he's gonna paddle off to the side and watch Remy now have his attempt at a left. And Remy's got a little bit of ground to make up as Kyle bested him on the rights with an 8.0, and Remy had just some average scores dropped in there, so Remy has got to do some performing here on this left as he patiently waits. And the wave should be coming through any moment. And here it comes. Remy taking off close to the wall. Nice bottom turn, slashing, very nice turn off the top there for Remy. You can see him putting a lot of power into that backhand turn. And then finishes with a floater and another little foam climb for Remy as he hits the beach. And that is not sand, folks. That is some pretty solid concrete. And safe to say, Remy getting the better of that first exchange with Kyle not able to catch the wave, and Remy getting in and doing bottom turns like this, showing us the bottom of his board, and then snapping very quick, very powerful on that first backhand maneuver. And then just a little kind of a check snap there for turn number 2, and finishes with a paddle transition, little floater and a foam climb, staying very low on his board, making sure to complete each maneuver. Now Kyle Vaj is out there for attempt number 2. And with that first one, you know he's gonna make sure that he gets into this wave first of all. And then once getting into the wave, he's gonna have to perform pretty well to better what Remy was able to do on his first attempt at the left. And Kyle just doing some circles. You can see the length of his board, the size of his board, not big enough to just stay in one spot, so he has to keep moving. And now he sees it coming, gets him spun around quickly, paddling hard, making sure not to miss this one, gets in the spot, he's in there, switches his paddle over, big bottom turn, snapping a nice turn off the open face. And turn number 2, not quite able to complete. He had big visions of a huge snap right there on his backhand, but was not able to get his board back into the wave and continue. So Remy will still hold the upper hand here as they have their first couple of exchanges on the left. Remy coming up with attempt number 2. So Kyle gets into the wave quite nicely right there. Saw him paddling really hard, making sure he was not going to miss that one. But throws the tail on his backhand very nicely, speeding down the line, a nice wide, stable stance, and just could not get the board around quick enough to complete that backside snap. And it'll be Remy Keek with his second opportunity. Well, we arrived here 2 days ago, and we were just like a bunch of little kids when we came and saw this wave pool. We got here to the park and just immediately went sprinting for the water as we see a wave coming now for the surfer in white, Remy Keek, and a very enthusiastic, happy-go-lucky fellow from France by way of Brazil, or from Brazil by way of France, however you'd like to word it. And it doesn't get much radical maneuvers in right there, kind of just rode that wave, didn't really surf the wave, but he fit a couple of maneuvers in there that won't be better than his first wave, I don't think. And Kyle Vaj will have his final attempt coming up. But yeah, when we got here to the park, we couldn't check into the hotel fast enough. We just wanted to get here so bad. And when you come up through the lobby of the water park here, and then you get out to the concrete beach, and you see the whole setup, you just start to gleam and glow. You see the beautiful blue water backed up against a desert mountain. And it was really hot on that first day, so first thing was to get in the water and cool off. And then, of course, getting aboard and getting out there to the wave was the second thing that you were just super excited to do. I've only surfed in one other wave pool in Orlando, Florida, Typhoon Lagoon, and I gotta say this one is much better. It's got a little more power. Seems like they have a little more flexibility with what they can do with the different directions of the wave, but it is a very cool place to hang out, and you know, kind of a really unique experience to be able to surf in a man-made wave pool. Of course, you don't have to worry about certain things like big fish and marine life, which is somewhat comforting, but you do have to worry about those walls on the side. It's very close. And another wave coming through right now for Kyle Vaj. This is his final attempt on the lefts. Gets a quick snap off the top for turn number 1, and another snap off the top for turn number 2. Just kind of got hung up and was not able to make it ahead of that braking section for a third turn. So Kyle will finish his attempts on the left, possibly with Remy able to extend his advantage for this left-hand riding experience. But Kyle has that first wave on the rights of an 8.0 that Remy still has to make up for. The first turn was pretty good. The second turn looked like it was a little bit forced and just could not get the board down the wave as quickly as he wanted to. Steps off in the shoreline. Now Remy out to the left-hand peak to have his final attempt on the lefts, and then we'll have the closeout section. These guys are both regular foot, so they probably will be hanging over towards the right when that closeout attempt is coming up. The Wadi Adventure Park. What a very cool place. So far remote in the desert, but we have a wave to surf, which is pretty incredible. A lot of the locals here working as the lifeguards, they have their surfing days on Sundays, is what I was told. And here goes Remy just scraping the wall, literally right alongside it. His rail was almost touching the wall. And gets a nice first turn, gets a little second turn there, and goes for the spinner on the third turn. The reverse attempt, incomplete. But a decent performance there for Remy. As you see someone diving in off the stairwell in the background. They weren't letting us do that the other day, but I think we've kind of warmed up to the Wadi Adventure Park staff, and they're letting us get away with a little bit more than what they first were when we first arrived a couple days ago. probably see that we are very capable of having a great time and staying safe in this beautiful wave pool. Schweitzer peeking in for quarterfinal number 4, making sure he's got his timing right. They have 6 more waves to ride, and then he'll be up in his quarterfinal heat up against Bo Nixon, who snuck through the sudden death round. Actually, he was powering through that sudden death round. He was taking the pressure very well and had a great score to end up first place through the sudden death round, and was followed by Kieran Taylor, who was also able to power surf his way into a quarterfinal berth. Unfortunately, Kieran going down in the quarters to a very, very in-form Jan Vaj, who possibly, we'll see how the brackets break down, but we could see at some point brother against brother. That's a possibility here with both Jan and Kyle in the quarterfinals. Jan already advancing on. Kyle locked in a very close battle with Remy Keek. So this closeout section will be a determining factor here to see who advances on into the semifinals. And that was Daniel Hughes jumping off the wall into the water to make sure he does not waste this transitional wave opportunity. You can see all the bubbles and upwelling of the pumps along the back wall there of this Wadi Adventure wave pool. And the wave comes up quite quickly when you're sitting out there waiting. You hear this big kind of a thunder noise, and then out of nowhere this wall of water just appears in front of you, and you got to do your best to track it down, catch it, and of course ride it to the best of your ability. But it's definitely a lot of fun. It's very cool knowing that a wave is coming. During the first couple of days we were kind of timing how long in between you have until the next wave comes, and it's roughly 90 seconds, give or take. Daniel in position. So now we'll be seeing the closeout transitional wave. And the reason for the transitional is it does take a few minutes to reset the direction, and we want the competitors to have an even playing field. So the transitional wave is the one that gets the wave pool working fairly for all the competitors, because that first wave, after you take a couple of minutes of a break time in the wave pool, it gets very glassy. So that first wave tends to be one of the better waves. So we don't want to have the factor of having the guy who draws the first wave get the first pick and able to get the really glassy wave. So we push a transitional wave through so that it evens it out, and you get a little bit of reverb, not much at all, but definitely more than what you would have when you have that 2 to 3 to 4 minute break in between the waves. You can see the backwash going back out. You'll see some of the competitors actually trying to catch and ride that backwash back out into the deeper water of the pool. And Kyle Vaj opting to go for the right-hander on this closeout portion of quarterfinal number 3. And we got to say thank you to Nash, making their presence felt here at the park, posting up down there, putting up a tent. The Nash distributor in the area for the UAE. And it's just even funny and awkward to say that there is a Nash stand-up paddleboard distributor here in the Middle East. The sport is growing rapidly, exponentially here in the United Arab Emirates and in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And of course, now with this historic event, the first stand-up paddling contest in this Wadi Adventure Park wave pool, we're going to see it grow even more. As Kyle into the first turn, nice tail sliding snap, and then hits that section with authority, but unfortunately his foot slips off the front and he goes down. So currently, Kyle Vaj with a 9.6 on his very first wave, jumped out to an early lead. Remy Keek, not too shabby. His wave number 2 was his best score from that first round with a 7.67. So you match up a 9.6 against a 7.67 for the first round of rights. Then going into the lefts, it was a crucial error for Kyle, getting 0 points on that first attempt on the left. But he was able to get a third score of a 4.57. But Remy Keek was able to get a 6.17 for his first left and jump out in front during that round right there. But it's very close. Kyle has a 9.6 and a 4.57. Remy has a 7.67 and a 6.17. So that puts them pretty much neck and neck, and it's going to be this closeout section that's going to determine who advances on into the semifinals. So once again, the format here, we are taking the best one score of each category. It's not the best scores of all the waves ridden. It's the best one from each category. So they'll be catching 3 rights. We'll take the best score of those 3 rights. They'll be catching 3 lefts. We'll take the best score of the 3 lefts. And then they'll be getting their closeout section wave, which will take the best score of those 3 attempts. So with a 7.67 and a 6.17 for Remy, that's very close to the score of a 9.6 and a 4.57 for Kyle Vaj. I think Kyle still has a little bit of the edge and advantage if my public high school Hawaii math serves me correctly. But we do have Remy Keek up and riding there with a nice first turn, and then the second turn goes into the closeout section. Didn't have that much speed, kind of just horizontally floated over the section, and the judges are looking for more of the vertical attack for those bigger scores. Remy lays into that first one nicely, lots of power, nice flow right there, but then this one, if he was able to push it a little more vertical, he would have got a better score. But nonetheless, nice little air drop into that second maneuver, going past one of the spouting fountains that line the shoreline here at the Wadi Adventure Park wave pool. So as it stands, it is very close. Total score for, after the 3 rights and the 3 lefts, total score for Kyle Vaj is a 14.17, and a total score for Remy Keek is a 13.74. So they are literally less than 1 point away from each other. So very, very close quarterfinal. It seems like we've been getting closer and closer as we progress from quarterfinal number 1. It was pretty much a blowout from Jan Vaj to Kieran Taylor. The next one was very close between Leko Salazar and Cody Kerbox. Cody was able to outpoint the former and current world champion Leko Salazar by just a fraction, as we see Kyle up and riding, nice aggressive first turn, and then finishes strong, similar to that of Remy Keek, but a little more speed generated there by Kyle on that one. and we'll see how that factors in. We'll watch the replay right here. And once again, these guys are less than 1 point from each other, even about 0.75 separating the two surfers. Actually, even less than that. It was just very close as Kyle gets the tail release on the first turn, and then a little bit mistimed, but fought through that closeout section well and completed the maneuver. And right there, big bottom turn, and was able to stall. No, I'm just kidding. That was just some replay editing work from our staff here, but Kyle Vaj able to capitalize on the closeout section and get his 2 maneuvers in there. So after wave number 7, it is Remy with a 6.67 on his previous wave. Kyle with a 4.33. We'll stand by for that wave number 8 score of Kyle to see if it was better than a 4.33. But so far, Remy holding the upper edge, which, like we said, could be the difference here. This is the final attempt for the closeout section, not the final wave, but just the final category here. So this is all 3 of these waves very important for each surfer. And here goes Remy. Last score for Kyle was a 5.57. It does better his 4.33. And Remy lays into the first turn. Now getting some speed down the line and going for an aerial attempt, but kind of just gets hung up there. But nonetheless, a nice aggressive maneuver from Remy. Gets a little bit of fin release, a little bit of an air drop coming back in, and is able to complete the maneuver and puts it in the hands of the judges. Remy doing a good job cranking off the bottom, putting his weight and his power into that first turn. Kyle walking by, watching every move, of course, and then just gets a little bit over the lip right there. Pushing the progressive style. Remy Keek from France, now representing and living in Brazil. And saw Zane Schweitzer strutting across the shoreline, getting ready for his quarterfinal appearance. Standing by for wave number 8 score of Remy, and now Kyle with his final attempt of this quarterfinal has to do something here because it is just pins and needles very close. Wave number 8 score still coming in. Kyle Vaj fading into the right, goes fading left, goes right, now with a snap and another attempt on the second portion of that wave. And he can't complete it, so he'll have his best score of a 5.57. This could make it very, very interesting. So Kyle with a total score of 19.64. That means Remy needs a score, possibly, of at least 6 points, which he does have in a 6.67. So this looks, so far, with my Hawaii Public High School Education math, it looks like Remy is in a good position with that 6.67 on his wave number 7. We still have yet to see his wave number 8, and he's out there for his final attempt, wave number 9. So Kyle unable to capitalize on his final attempt, has one turn and then goes down and gets just right around a 3.5 for his final wave, so that won't factor into his top 2 scores. And the previous score of Remy comes in at a 7.07, so unofficially right now, with Kyle with a 9.6, the highest score of the heat, however, unable to back it up with anything more significant than a 4.57 and a 5.57. Remy stayed consistent all the way through. Here he goes on his last attempt. Carving nicely into that first turn. Full roundhouse cutback, and then goes up and over the section, completes that, but that won't be one of his top 2. But nonetheless, he counts a 7.07 for his last score. Pair that with a 6.17 and a 7.67. Very consistent performance, and that consistency will earn him a spot in the semifinals. So great job for Remy Keek, taking out a very, very talented Kyle Vaj, who was able to get the big score, but in this game you have to keep it consistent. You got to get those backup scores, and they just weren't enough to pass up the consistent surfing of Remy Keek. So we'll have a transitional wave here, and then we'll have our quarterfinal number 4. But we're going to take you to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with quarterfinal number 4, Zane Schweitzer against Bo Nixon. Stay with us.
Kai Lenny has proved himself to be one of the most versatile athletes in the world. Turtle Bay has become his home away from home for good reason.
This place is just so amazing, Turtle Bay, and had such a good time on the North Shore. And it's always, been very gracious and kind towards me, and I've always gotten some amazing waves and have met a lot of amazing people. And, to finish another epic day the way, with the sunset like that and some good waves, kind of hard to beat.
There's so much opportunity for the intermediate and growing surfers.
Oh yeah, the North Shore has every variety of wave you can think of. Places like Buena Point on the inside, where Uncle Brian teaches his surf lessons, or Hans Hedeman Surf School down there at Turtle Bay.
And here at Turtle Bay, we're blessed with lovely waves right around the hotel. Get quality surf and quality water time. Turtle Bay is your gateway to the North Shore.